Commissioner in the back still in. Commissioner Chesney will be remote today. He is not feeling well. Oh, there's Commissioner Hernandez. Yes. If you could all rise for the invocation and the pledges. Pastor Anthony Aquino, Cal Allen Baptist Church, thank you for being here this morning. Is going to lead us in the invocation.
Thank you, Judge. Thank you for asking me to participate. Would you bow your heads with me? Dear Heavenly Father, we come before you today with grateful hearts, seeking your guidance and wisdom as we convene this meeting of the Commissioners' Court. Bless each member with discernment and understanding so they may make decisions that best serve the interest of our community. Grant them strength to lead with compassion and courage to address the challenges that lie ahead. May their actions be just, with their intentions pure, always keeping the welfare of our citizens at the forefront. Lord, we ask for your blessings upon this gathering, that it may be conducted in an atmosphere of respect, cooperation, and unity. May the proceedings be marked by an open communication and productive deliberation. We lean on your word for inspiration and guidance. Proverbs 3, 5, and 6 reminds us, trust in the Lord with all your heart, and lean not on your own understanding, and in all your ways submit to him, and he will make your paths straight. We entrust this meeting to your divine providence, knowing that with your guidance we will chart a path towards prosperity and harmony for our beloved community. In Jesus' holy and powerful name, amen.
Amen. Thank you. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one indivisible.
Thank you. You may be seated. We have 4 commissioners present, 1 commissioner remote. It is 9:11. We are at 901 Leopard in the Nueces County Courtroom, and I will call this meeting to order. I would ask the commissioners first if anyone has any disclosures of conflicts of interest. We can always announce those if the item comes up if you fail to see it. Moving on to item E, adopt the following resolutions and proclamations. Item number 1, adopt a resolution in support of Nueces County and the South Texas Coastal Bend as the World War II Heritage City. I will make a motion to adopt that. Can I get a second?
Second.
We have a motion and a second, and Ms. Payton, if you will read the resolution, then I'll take the vote.
Yes, ma'am. Whereas Nueces County and its surrounding region played a significant role in the victory of World War II. And whereas Naval Air Station Corpus Christi was known as the University of Air and trained 35,000 naval aviators who were instrumental in turning the tide of the war in the Pacific Theater. And whereas operations at Naval Air Station Corpus Christi included not only the main airfield, but 6 auxiliary fields and 25 outlying practice fields scattered throughout Nueces County and South Texas Coastal Bend. And whereas construction of the Naval Air Station began in 1940 and was completed in record time on March 12, 1941, a construction feat incomprehensible today. And whereas NAS Corpus Christi trained famous naval aviators such as President George H.W. Bush, astronaut and Senator John Glenn, astronaut Neil Armstrong and Senator John McCain, actor Tyrone Power, and the game show host Bob Barker. And whereas the aviation tradition continues today as NASCC continues to train the Navy, Marine Corps, and U.S. Coast Guard's finest aviators. And whereas in 1940, U.S. Navy declared Padre Island off limits to the public, and by 1943 constructed 7 practice bombing targets on what now is Padre Island National Seashore. And whereas to protect the coast from German U-boats, the Coast Guard maintained 9 beach patrol stations on Padre Island. And whereas due to a suspected sighting of a U-boat at Aransas Pass in 1942, the Southern Defense Command dispatched Field Artillery Battery of the 2nd Infantry Division to Mustang Island, where they set up 105mm howitzers. And whereas Nueces County is home to the 54-acre Coastal Bend State Veterans Cemetery dedicated on Pearl Harbor Day 2011, whose hallowed ground is the final resting place for over 432 World War II veterans. And whereas Amistad Veterans Park Memorial, located in Bishop, honors veterans from Bishop, Petronia, and Driscoll. And whereas World War II brought phenomenal growth to our region as military service members and workers from around the nation came together, intermingled, and started to overcome their differences to meet the demands of winning the war. And whereas NAS Corpus Christi afforded citizens of all races and opportunities to serve their country, and many served admirably as soldiers, sailors, Marines, and in the Coast Guard. And whereas Corpus Christi is home to the great civil rights organization, the GI Forum, once led by Dr. Hector P. Garcia, which protected the rights of Latino and Latina veterans returning from the war. And whereas the USS Lexington, a World War II Essex-class aircraft carrier, reached her final berth at North Beach in 1992 and is now one of the region's most beloved attractions. And whereas Nueces County is home to the many veteran organizations and memorials and takes great pride in its World War II heritage. Now, therefore, be it resolved by the Commissioners Court of Nueces County, recognizes the many contributions its citizens made to the war effort during World War II and continues to preserve its military history and community pride in our contribution as the only World War II heritage region in the state of Texas by the National Park Service. Duly adopted by the vote of the Commissioners Court of Nueces County, Texas, on this 25th day of October, 2023.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor, say aye.
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 And yes, Scott, would you like to come up and talk? I'd just like to say yes. We are so pleased with this recognition for Nueces County, and my grandfather served in the Navy here in World War II, so I'm extremely honored to have this distinction, yes.
So you have some of the history, Judge. This actually took place, and JJ can't be here today, so he's my partner in crime on this, along with Jenny Cross at the Chamber and Nina Nixon Mendez. Did I get that right? Okay, from the city. So it was back in spring of last year. Just so happens Mary Kay Skarupa, my partner over at U.S. Fish and Wildlife, sent me an email and said, hey, do you know anything about this? And I'm like, no, I don't. And I got to looking at it, and I thought, well, how can we not be a World War II heritage designation? And we didn't have it, and so I got with JJ, and we got the team together, and we started putting together the application and submitted it, and we got notified in December of last year that we got the award. And so it's a big deal. And I want this to really resonate with y'all because it's the only designation that the state of Texas is ever going to get. Each state gets one. It just so happens last week I happened to be able to visit the very first city that got it, which is Wilmington, North Carolina. And so, you know, I've done some research on it. But anyhow, it was the bulk of the work in this application needs to go, the credit needs to go to Jenny and Nina because we just kind of divided and conquered, and JJ and I helped facilitate the application process, but it was Nina who did a lot of the work on looking up all the history, and it was Jenny who organized all the federal and state elected officials and letters of endorsement that we needed to put into our packet to make us competitive. Come to find out, we're the only one in the state that submitted, and so, which was good, and it's fitting for us too. So this is our official logo that's bestowed upon us by the National Park Service, and there's one of these already up out the cemetery, and so we'll have one of these over at IB McGee because we have those two 155 millimeter Panama gun mounts on the dunes back there on the park that used to protect the channel from German U-boats, and then we'll have one at Padre because, believe it or not, Padre was part of the Padre Bay was part of the target bombing range for the Navy when they were training. And so, but there are no bombs out there. It's all clear. Anyhow, so but what's neat about this is that these QR codes right here. If you scan the one on my right, which would be your left, that one leads you to all the literature that we developed that was submitted for the application package, and the one on my left, your right, is the Coastal Bend Goes to War that Pat over Channel 6 did a while back that was on TV. So I'm going to leave this with y'all. I had plenty made up so that you can tax Public Works for putting it up wherever they want, where you want it. But I think this is great. And then I'm going to turn it over to Jenny at the Chamber. She's going to talk to y'all just briefly about what they're doing with CVB, or Visit Corpus Christi, and the Chamber with creating this World War II Heritage Trail. So here's what it looks like, everybody. So,
Thank you, Scott.
Scott.
We will display
Scott.
it with
Thank you.
honor.
Scott,
yes, sir.
I just wanted to see if we probably can put one of those in Bishop at the park, at the Veterans Memorial.
Oh, yeah.
Mr.
All of our
Park.
veterans
We have,
parks, yes.
It's the only wall that I know of in South Texas.
We need one up at every site we got.
That has the veterans, World War I, World War II.
So I've got plenty made up. If I need to have more made up, I'll do it. My dime. Don't worry.
Okay,
Thank
thanks.
you.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you, Scott.
Hello, Jenny.
Hi, everybody. Thank you for supporting this effort. This is one of the greatest projects that I've had an opportunity to work on. Super fun, interesting, getting to work with lots of different people. So we got the designation, so now what? So what we are doing is we're creating a World War II heritage trail that will have markers at various sites throughout the county, and Clayburgh County as well, because they're part of our designation. And on November 10, we're having a ceremony at the USS Lexington where we're going to announce this trail, and we're going to have a ceremony, and Judge would like to invite you to come and read the proclamation, if you would. And all the commissioners, of course, are invited, and I've got a little invitation here for you. But I also wanted to take a minute to thank a lot of people who have helped develop this trail. And it's not just the chamber. We've had Visit Corpus Christi has been a big part of it. The JJ with Veterans Services. Other partners are the Downtown Management District. I know Alyssa's here today. The Corpus Christi Museum of Science and History. Obviously, the USS Lexington has been a big part of it. The Nueces County Historical Commission. Yay, raise your hands. And the city, and we already mentioned Nina. She did a wonderful job writing the application. It reads like something you want to read. Doesn't look like an application. It's great. Robert Kurtz is here. He is the city's historical preservation officer. So I just wanted to recognize all those folks and hope that you guys can join us on November 10. And I'll leave this with you
And the
all.
10th, it's our birthday, too.
Pardon me?
And the 10th is our birthday, Marine Corps.
Oh, that's correct. That's right. We had planned the
And
ceremony
mine,
early
too.
enough so that you can go to this and the Marine Corps Ball. So,
We have this for
Oh,
you
great.
as
Thank you
well,
so much.
so I don't know, do you want to take a photo? Would you like everyone to come up that's here, that worked on it? I grabbed the wrong one. Thank you. I grabbed the right one. Everyone that worked on it, pardon me, please.
Hello, young lady. Thank you.
Here in the center, you and Jenny doing right in the center. Don't turn around.
Yeah, we're trying to make it even. There we go. Now it's we gotta get symmetrical.
Sorry.
Now it looks symmetrical. Okay, ready? 1, 2, 3. One more.
Big smiles, everyone.
Where's Scott?
I'm back here. I'm okay. I'm good being off the radar.
Was I too tall or something?
Oh, I guess because Commissioner Chesney was.
Oh, the Halloween,
Oh.
the Halloween, yeah.
Thank you, folks. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Appreciate you, man. Thank you. What you do.
Yes. And just for note, we're all wearing our pink today again. Last Commissioners Court, we did the Breast Cancer Awareness Month, and the guys didn't get the memo, so they wanted us to do it again, and they all stepped up to the plate and wore their pink. We're so proud of them all. But very happy to support that this month too as well. I'm going to move up item A16 because we have all of you here, and it is to discuss and consider adopting a resolution in support of the continuance of Spawn Hospital Emergency Department Residency Program. And did Peyton walk out? Do you want to read this resolution, or someone back here? If you, I will. First, it is your item, but I wanted to see if Commissioner Matos would allow me to change this and make some, I made a few changes to the resolution. It was your item, if you will accept my changes.
Yeah,
A
Judge, if you want to
motion
read
to
them,
change,
if you want to read
yes.
them, and then I guess we can make a motion, sure.
Yes, we read the resolution, I guess,
Yes.
then? Okay, yeah, I'll just read it then, thanks. Commissioners Court Resolution in support of Spawn Hospital Emergency Department Residency Program, whereas Christa Spawn Hospital Corpus Christi has been the largest and leading acute care medical facility in the region with a full range of diagnostic and surgical specialty services in cardiac, cancer, and stroke care, and a Level 2 regional trauma center staffed with physicians and nurses specially trained in emergency services. Whereas Christa Spawn Hospital Corpus Christi has made the decision to end the emergency residency program, and this will have a negative impact on our residents. Whereas Christa Spawn Hospital Corpus Christi's mission is to serve the poor and underserved populations of Nueces County. And whereas additional time is necessary to have the opportunity to find alternate funding and other avenues to keep this valuable program. Now therefore be it resolved by the Commissioners Court of Nueces County, I request that you accept these changes, Commissioner Matos, and accept the Spawn Hospital reevaluate its decision to eliminate the Spawn Emergency Department Residency Program.
Yes, a
Would
second.
you, yes.
Yes, second
We
to
have
your
a
motion,
motion and a second. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Same sign, and this has been signed by all of our commissioners, and we are proud to support this as well and work together to find solutions to move us forward in this critical care in our community. So I want to thank you all for being here as well, and all the many meetings we have seen you at in the last week or so. I don't know if you have anyone that would like to speak about this, or if y'all have someone you'd like to do a photo, but we want to present this while you're here, if y'all would, yes.
I think I'm going to have to stand. It was speak to the commission.
We will get
I
this to
didn't.
you because already on here.
That's what I was blocking.
Yes, sorry. If you'll get her, just come on up and squeeze in wherever we can. We'll just hold it, we'll get another
have to
one to
pay a
them.
copay
Yes,
for
it's
this?
okay. No problem.
I feel like I should. Okay, thank you. Not for,
I feel like you should pay it.
And we have this for y'all, but we're gonna have to get another one printed and stamped. That's what you do when you get printed. But we are very happy to receive it. Thank you.
We're trying to make sure we see everyone.
Perfect. Yes. All right, here we go. 1, 2, 3. One more.
One more, I lied.
Stay where I am.
Okay, ready? 1, 2, 3. Got it.
Thank you all.
Thanks so very much. Work hard out there.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Please, yes, absolutely, yes. We're happy.
Thank y'all very much.
If you're signed up, yes. Perfect. It's going to be next after this. Yes. Okay.
Thank you for the opportunity. Judge Scott, County Commissioners, my name is Sunny Italia. I reside at 2010 Magnolia Falls Drive. I'm a board-certified emergency physician, a graduate of this program, and a member of this community. Don't worry, I'm not here to reiterate or expound on the facts that my colleagues have already presented to you and countless others over the last 13 days. I instead just wanted to take this opportunity to thank each and every one of you for taking your valuable time not only to listen to our pleas, our facts, and even our emotions, but for taking the time to really, truly understand us. None of us had ever been in this situation before because of how rare it is to voluntarily close such a nationally recognized residency program. However, within the days after the announcement, while we were still struggling to wrap our minds around what had just happened, and hoping that it was just a nightmare that we'd soon wake up from, our community advocated for us, and you all came together to announce a special meeting of the Commissioners Court, which provided us a venue for our voices and our community's voices to be heard. And let me assure you, those voices were definitely heard. The amount of overwhelming support, not just from our nurses, techs, and fellow physicians throughout the country, but from our patients, our neighbors, and all of our community leaders was very humbling. I never thought I'd have to hold up the drive-through line at Taco Bell at 11 p.m. last night to explain the rippling effects of closing a residency to a group of oddly interested cashiers. But they saw my white coat in the passenger seat, they asked, and I couldn't say no. They also hadn't given me my tacos yet, so I had no choice. The platform you provided us, the same one that I'm speaking here at today, and the support you have given us has helped our community understand not only what this residency program has accomplished for the Coastal Bend, but what devastating effects the loss of it would lead to for each and every one of us here. And our gratitude doesn't end there. We couldn't be more grateful for your willingness to work on our schedules, because the ER, those seconds, minutes, and hours matter. And if we waited days, weeks, and months, there would be no saving us. Our interview season is over in a couple months. Our applicants are watching from the outside, over 600 of them, waiting patiently for us to tell them that we've succeeded, that this community has succeeded, to allow them the opportunity to become the future board-certified ER doctors of the Coastal Bend. We would not have been able to fight for this community without all of you seated here in front of me today. So on behalf of those 600 applicants, our 36 residents, our 16 faculty, our thousands of patients, and the entire Coastal Bend, thank you.
Very welcome. Yes.
Thank you, sir.
We will now move into our public comment, and if you have signed up, you will have 3 minutes. We won't be commenting or anything. You have 3 minutes to speak, and I'll ask that you keep your clapping or any noise or anything down during public comment or anything. The first person signed up is Veronica Wilson. If you'll state your name and address too, I think you'll probably have it down now.
Good morning, Judge. Good morning, Commissioners here and away. My name is Veronica Wilson, and I've lived in Corpus Christi my whole life. I grew up at 1222 19th Street, across the street from the big old empty space that was once Memorial Hospital. Years ago, my husband, David Wilson, Dr. David Wilson, was a member of the Nueces County Medical Education Foundation Board, a nonprofit that was then responsible for the oversight of the medical education program. Until Spawn took over Memorial and assumed the responsibility of the residency program at around 1996, and here we are, a big old empty lot and 50 doctors that we're about to lose. In different meetings over the weeks, I've listened to Mr. Granato of the NCHD and Commissioner Chesney ask for suggestions for solutions to this problem, and here's mine. In the long run, this residency program should not be in the hands of any one hospital system. First, we need to stabilize this situation, find a hospital system to overtake the program, convince Spawn to hold on to it for a little longer just to keep this program alive and running and keep everyone working and their residency efforts safe and secure. Our long-term solution to the problem we face right now is to create a medical school in Corpus Christi. We need a committee of local doctors to talk to each university president to see who wants to play and create a plan for our school. Once we get a big hospital system, a big school system involved, UT, Texas A&M, Texas Tech, we need to create a new medical school and use Spawn Shoreline and Bay Area Medical Center for the rotation hospitals. Site the school campus at the old Memorial Medical Center land. It's still empty. Create a building for the first years. We already have much of the infrastructure needed to provide clinical training to support third and fourth year students. Assign third-year students to do 20 weeks of internal medicine, 10 weeks OB-GYN, general surgery, pediatrics, and fourth years doing special rotations. We have trauma, internal medicine, and pediatric hospital, so most of the core clinical rotations are already in place. All we need to do is get one of our great Texas University programs to support the foundation of a medical school for training years 1 and 2. The money is available through the Permanent University Fund, which constructs these buildings for UT and Texas A&M. The very idea of shutting down our trauma residency program is a petty, short-sighted, and small business, and I'm glad that you agree. This is an opportunity for us to do something great and much bigger. We can create new employment opportunities on the west side and solve this sorry business once and for all, and turn what was meant for our destruction to good. And as a side note, a fellowship is not a residency. Y'all have a good day.
I'm sorry, but please keep the clapping. You can't clap or comment during this, okay? Thank you. Lionel Lopez, if you'll state your name and address as well.
Yes, my name is Leonel Lopez, 4325 Philippine, Corpus Christi. I'm here, I work with South Texas Colonia Initiatives. And I'm here on behalf of the residents of the colonias. We have many, many problems in the colonias. Week before last, we were at the colonia meetings in Robstown. And I mentioned to the two commissioners that attend regularly at the Calderon building that if John Mares was working with South Texas Water Authority, and they got a little perturbed, and they said that that wasn't the place to discuss it. And I said, if a colonia meeting is not a place to discuss that, where was a place? So they invited me to come over here. But South Texas Water Authority has a lot of water in the colonias. It's expensive to have potable water, and the colonia residents have to pay for that. And it's beyond me that a commissioner would be working for South Texas Water Authority. I mean, it really is disturbing that a commissioner would be working there and working here at the same time. It's unthinkable, because for about 8 years I've been trying to put fire hydrants in the schools in Banquete, and our commissioners, the 3 commissioners that are here, haven't even had bothered to look at those hydrants. And South Texas Water Authority put those what I thought were hydrants for a long time. Well, Carola Cerrato, the lady that used to run that, the lady that Mr. Mares took the place up told me they were flush valves. I work in the fire department here in Corpus. I had never heard that term.
Sorry, sir, but your time has limited out. Thank you.
Jenny, I'd like the county attorney to weigh in on this issue. Has been addressed already. Do we not have a Texas Attorney General opinion on this? I need you to weigh in on this item. It's concerning. I mean,
We can go back and locate that and forward it back to you, Commissioner. Yes, we did look at this issue and we we gave you, findings at the time, but I think the Attorney General opinion is, the one that you'll want where, I believe they said that this was not a conflict as far as, because you don't have the authority over certain things at the water district, if I'm not mistaken. Your role there is not one of being in control, is that correct?
yes, and it's a contract, and I have filed disclosures before. That's on file.
Or we're not supposed
so-
to respond, Judge.
No, but I think.
He's
I mean,
asking for
I'm asking for
clarification
clarification. I
on
mean, this
the
is really
attorney
concerning
is-
that the good work that we're just doing, and somebody can just drop a bomb and just make a statement that's totally inaccurate. I think
That-
we need to
that
be
had
careful
already
with
been
public.
addressed,
That's already been addressed several times over.
That's
Thank
the
you.
only reason that
That's
she
fine.
is allowed to talk about it. Otherwise, you would not be able to come up, just for clarification for the rest of you here. Moving on to item, person number 3, Dr. Michael Brodier. Please remember, state you, yeah, Brodier. I always get that wrong.
That's
sorry.
okay.
I
Good
do it
morning,
the second
Judge Scott and County Commissioners. My name is Michael Brodeur. I live at 15729 Escapade Street. I'm a board-certified ER doctor and a teaching faculty member with the ER residency program at Shoreline, where I teach future board-certified ER doctors of the Coastal Bend. Hey, guys. Today, I want to highlight some of the differences between a residency program and a fellowship. The reason this is important is because the NCHD contract with SPAWN. The contract stipulates under section 1.02 for graduate medical education that, quote, during the term of this agreement, SPAWN will maintain at least 2 graduate medical education programs in medical specialties appropriate to community needs with comprehensive resident training applicable to such programs, end quote. This contract specifies resident training. I'm here to say that resident training is unequivocally not fellowship training. SPAWN would have you believe otherwise and will claim that their 1 resident per year accredited geriatrics family medicine fellowship counts as resident training. I believe personally that they are sorely mistaken. The governing body that accredits and oversees graduate medical education is called the ACGME. They have published a 44-page document, most recently revised in September of last year and effective July 1 of this year. It is titled ACGME Common Program Requirements, Fellowship. This is the ACGME law as it relates to accredited fellowships. On page 1, under the definitions, they make a distinction between residents and fellows. Fellowship training is not resident training. NCHD requires at least 2 comprehensive resident training programs here. On page 3 of the ACGME fellowship law, they say, quote, fellowship is advanced graduate medical education beyond a core residency program for physicians who desire to enter more specialized practice, end quote. Again, fellowship training is not resident training. They continue on with, quote, the prior medical expertise of fellows distinguish them from physicians entering residency, end quote. Fellows are not residents. Within the first 3 pages, we have 4 instances where fellows who are undergoing fellowship training are distinguished as being materially different from residents undergoing resident training. You cannot find an instance where fellows are equated with residents in this document, and you do find many instances in this document where they are explicitly distinguished. Yesterday, during the NCHD board meeting, one of the SPAWN's lawyers read from a document regarding how CMS treats fellows, trying to make the point that they are the same as residents. From a billing standpoint, fellows and residents do bill in the same way, under the direction of a teaching physician. But this does not make them residents. The ACGME is the authority when it comes to accrediting residencies and fellowships, and it is the ACGME that determines the definition. Both fellowships and residencies are crucial, but they are not the same. The ACGME recognizes that. I recognize that. The layperson recognizes that.
I hope that SPAWN comes to recognize that as well. Thank you.
Thank you. Dr. Shania Italia? Oh, you already spoke. You don't need to speak again. Yes, okay. Marcus Hose.
Marcus Haas, 4530 Driftwood Place in Corpus Christi. It's not often that you get an opportunity to talk to the Commissioners Court after they've already said they're going to do what you want. But I guess I want to thank you, but I do think that there's some things that have come out, Doctor, that really bode well for our residency program. And I would like somebody to, I've already had a conversation about getting getting some information about who's making the decisions up the food chain, so we can have some people to call and voice our support from the proletariat. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Haas. David Gilmore.
David Gilmore, 7934 Rancho Vista Boulevard, Corpus Christi. I'm here to talk today about IFB number 3249-23. This is for your solid waste and disposal services. Had a couple issues. One's with the bidding process. We went to do a sealed bid, and the company that had the lowest bid did not provide the proper documents, the required documents. The definition required, obviously, I'm sure everybody knows, compulsory, mandatory. So they didn't have the required documents. They were told they can add those at a later date, which is confusing to me, but that happened. So I decided they're the lowest bidder. I decided, well, why are they lower than us? They're your current hauler right now and disposer. So I decided, well, I'll take some pictures of the building out, the container here on site. Just one container, the compactor outside. I've sent the pictures to you guys this morning to review if you guys want to check your emails. Just on that container alone, I thought, well, it's cheaper. One, you got OSHA violations on that. There's no safety switch on the door. It operates while the door is open, the compactor. I mean, you've got a leak on the back. The leak is draining out into the sewer, another violation, TCEQ and city violation. You've got hydraulic oil on the ground. It's never been cleaned up. I spoke to the people who load the container, and they were telling me the container's never been cleaned. Per the contract, it's supposed to be cleaned. So what's happening, we have a recycled container next to it, nice clean container. People come out of the building, they don't want to approach the dirty container, so what do? They take the trash, put it in the recycled container, therefore costing you guys contamination fees as well. There goes your money up again. So all these things added up is costing you guys money, so in order to save $1, you spend $1, save a dime is what's going on here. They're cheaper than us, but I want you guys to make an informed decision, like the gentleman who did the prayer at the beginning. We want you guys to make the best decisions for the people of the community here. So I just wanted to be here today to inform you guys that there's a reason why things are cheaper out there. I don't buy my shoes at Walmart. I could put shoes on my feet at Walmart, but I go and get a better shoe that's going to last a little longer. So I'm willing to pay a little bit more for the correct service. It's a $900 difference a month. It doesn't seem like a lot, but when we ask to get confirmation on the tonnage report, it takes a couple weeks. This is instant. We have systems in our place. It's instant. You'll have a dedicated account manager for your account. Things change over time. This isn't the same. Your trash isn't the same every year, every month. So we can adapt. We have an account manager that'll do a blueprint waste assessment to see where you guys can save money. Those compactors are designed to hold 10 tons. You're hauling it at 4 tons. Why? That's money again. No one's brought these things to your attention. The container's out there to look at. I mean, there's a difference. So I just thank you guys for taking the time to listen to me today. Thank you.
Thank you. Dr. Michael Harbin.
Scott, I had initially signed up for public comment, but in light of your recent motion as well as the
Okay, I'll mark you off. Thank you. Dolores Rabin.
Good morning. My name is Dolores Rabin, and I live at 321 Seaside Drive, Corpus Christi. I just wanted to take a moment to lift up our Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. And I wanted to thank you for the opportunity to speak. So I just want to say a prayer. Our Father, who is in heaven, holy be thy name. Your kingdom come here on this earth as it is in heaven, here in this courtroom, here in this community, here in this city, Lord. We lift you up and we give you glory and honor and praise, and we just want you to be honored, Lord, in this city, in this county, Lord, in this courtroom. I thank you for wisdom, Lord, that you provide to our commissioners, Lord, and our judge. I thank you, Lord, for moving their hearts to honor you and glorify you, Lord. And I pray, Lord, that you help us to resist the evil one and protect us from him and his ways and his influence, Lord, over our lives. And I just give you all the glory and all the praise in Jesus' name. Amen. Thank you.
Amen. Thank you. Is there anyone else who wishes to do public comment that didn't have an opportunity to sign up?
Could you try again?
If not, then I will turn this over to Teresa. I am, since the doctors are here, if y'all will wait 1 second, Commissioner Chesney did ask me to bring up item 3A15 since you are here before you all leave. And that is to receive an update regarding Krista Spahn and the decision to decimate the emergency medical community in Nueces County and the effects on our citizens and all related matters.
Judge?
Huh? 3A15, yes. Just so we can get that before you leave, and then we can get you guys back to work. We appreciate what you do. We don't want to hold you up too long. Commissioner Chesney, do you want to take over? Yes.
Judge, that'll be very quick. Excuse me, that'll be very quick. The hospital district met yesterday. I just wanted to let the court know what happened there. The Spahn CEO did attend and seemed to indicate some willingness to at least have conversations with the hospital district regarding the matter. I think that is a semi-positive action, and I'm hoping that that does happen. My understanding is that meeting is supposed to happen this week. I think this now is in the hands of the hospital district and Spahn judge, and I think it would probably be best suited for them to continue to meet and try to figure out what they can do. I do know there are other interested parties that if Spahn isn't interested in keeping the program, that are interested in keeping the program, and that's also encouraging to me. And I just want to make sure that the court continues to be aware of the timeliness of this. These 600 applicants you've heard about are waiting to hear whether or not they're going to have the opportunity to interview this year. So we are definitely still in a crucial time frame. And if anybody on the court, any other elected official, any other person out there can weigh in with the hospital district and Spahn, that would be appreciated in a very respectable manner. I think the hospital district clearly articulated they're very, very interested in helping this program financially yesterday. And that was very good to hear as well, because this will affect the indigent care in our community greatly. And that is what the hospital district is charged with. It will also affect many others besides indigent care, aging community, everybody that will do it. So I think that those meetings will happen this week is what I've been told. I'm certainly going to continue to check in. Just wanted to and most of the doctors in the room there have been at every meeting and then some, so I know they were also aware of what went on. Appreciate Commissioner Mata also being there. And I know Judge Scott was there yesterday as well. We didn't know what the issue was on quorum, so she was the better. She kind of took the she left the room when Commissioner Matas and I were in there. I don't think it was a quorum violation, but she, I appreciate her being there as well. And I know Commissioner Hernandez and Gonzalez are also very interested in making sure that our community is served. So I don't have anything new other than that. Again, I'm hoping that the hospital district, we can, that they will meet, that they will let us know what's going on. I think when those people meet, that's where the doctors need to go. I think we as a court have appropriately put this out into the public venue like we were supposed to with issues like this. But I think really now it seems to be between the hospital district and the and Spahn. That's not to say I won't be watching, checking in, doing everything that I can to keep that ball on keep that train on the track. And so I think we have made progress in a short period of time. We do care about what goes on in this community, this Commissioners Court. I appreciate them taking the time to come have that special meeting and get this rolling, because I'll be honest, I don't think without that initial meeting that the court allowed us to have, the judge allowed us to have, that we'd be anywhere on this issue. And I think I'm holding out a lot of hope that we will make progress. So thank you, Judge. I appreciate it. I don't have anything new. And if the doctors or Commissioner Monas wanted to add, or whoever wanted to add to it, but I didn't want them to sit there and have to wait for an item that wasn't going to have much more substance than an update that they saw yesterday. Thank you.
Thank you. Do any of the other commissioners wish to? Yes,
Yes, Judge.
Commissioner Miles.
Thank you for creating that committee in such a short notice, considering we had to call a special meeting last week to meet on this very issue. And you want to talk about the power of the people. When you have a bunch of white coats walk into a room, you stop the conversation, and all the focus and attention is on you. We heard, I think, one of your kids last week talk about superheroes. You truly are. This is about how the public can get involved positively to create change and to bring advocacy. And y'all do that all the time for your patients. And sometimes, right, you got to do it for yourself. And so you and all those that have been here at the previous meetings, and thank you for your insight. We've seen each other quite a lot. And I mentioned to some of you earlier when we were taking the photo that I had to pay a copay. I felt obligated to do that just because I've seen so many doctors right now. And I'll tell my regular physicians I don't need to see them for a while. But this is not over. We need to, remain vigilant, provide oversight, all of us connected. But I think that this is a step in the right direction to hear that there is a willingness to have this dialogue discussed further and to explore what are the options. And I don't think it's a matter of if we're going to keep it, it's just where. Right? I think this community is full on in support of this. So please continue to contact us, reach out to us. We will have, I'm sure, periodic updates. The committee that we had, I'm sure we'll plan in another meeting soon, and we'll continue that engagement with the doctors, with the court, the hospital district, and of course the outside constituents that were also a part of it, Ms. Urban and others. So thank you all for being here today. Thank you.
Anybody else?
Judge, I was just going to ask if anybody could prescribe me a Z-Pack. I would appreciate it if there's anyone in the room up there. No, I'm kidding. Thank you all. Thank you all for being here.
Excuse me, Judge, I do have
yes,
something
go
to
ahead,
say.
Commissioner Hernandez.
Just concerning Spawn, I used to work at Spawn when it was only 5 floors. Okay? And at that time, they were making plans to raise it to 10 floors. And Spawn has always been active in the community, but it's going to take our friends and neighbors to get involved, because when Spawn took the responsibility of indigent care, okay, and I think they need to, stand with that. And we need the doctors here. I personally have driven to Victoria or Houston to take my wife to go see a specialist. And I think we do need the doctors here, and we need the attention in the emergency room area. So with that, Spawn, thank you guys are doing a great work. Thank you. Don't stop now.
Thank you. I'm sure you are more than welcome to stay, but in order for y'all to get out of here and for us to move forward, we can, if the other commissioners. Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry. I thought you didn't want to speak.
Commissioner Hernandez brought it up, brought a good point. And I totally support the residency program, but whether we have it or not, I think that our mission should be to bring doctors to Nueces County, specialist doctors, because I got to take my wife to Austin just to go see a neurologist, because we don't have good neurologists here in Corpus. We have some, but they're not specialists on Parkinson's, they're not specialists in other things. So my concern is bringing specialists to Nueces County for the brain, for Parkinson's, for the hips, for other major medicines, that we need to take care of our family medicines. So that is my concern, is that the residency, maybe there's a replacement for the residency that's going to make twice is better. I don't know. Maybe there's not. But it's something that's on the table now for the Nueces County Hospital District, and also SPON to go to the table and say, where do we go from here? How do we handle it? What do we do? Who's gonna spend money? Who's not gonna spend money? I mean, if we're asking SPON to spend a lot of, over $2-3 million, I mean, if we're gonna complain about it, then we need to put money on the table too. I mean, Nueces County wanna complain about it, we should put money on the table, right? I mean, just like we complain about the North Beach, we put money on the table, $4 million. Wanna complain about the bridge, we can't because we put $12 million. So we can complain about those things, but we put money, we have money on the table. But for us to complain and try to tell somebody you have to do it this way, I don't think it's right for us to do that. But it's like Valero, here, they released 100, they reduce 100 people tomorrow. Is it our job to do a resolution to tell Valero you have to hire them? You know, I don't know, where do we stop? I mean, I'm just saying that right now it's in the right place where it's supposed to be, the hospital district and SPON. Hopefully they can come together and work something out, whether it be a residency, or whether it be something else, I don't know what it is, but we gotta work it out somehow, and it's something that everybody's gotta come together and agree on something that's gonna benefit the community, not just SPON, not just the doctors, not just whatever, but it's gotta be something that's gonna benefit our community. The indigent care is one of my biggest concerns, and that's what the hospital district deals with, the indigent care. And I think SPON has been very generous with indigent care, especially with the Hector P. Garcia Clinic when we tore down the Memorial Hospital. So we gave something for something. We didn't just tear it down and do nothing. They built the Hector P. Garcia Clinic. So again, I just want to say, hopefully that this thing can be worked out. But I strongly believe, I mean, when I go to the ER, I don't like to wait either, right? But there's some of the things we just have to deal with sometimes. So I wish you all the best, wish you the luck, and hopefully things will be worked out. Thank you. Have a great day and God bless.
Thank you again for being here, all of you.
Thank you, everybody.
While they're moving out, if any of you have any items from the consent agenda that you want to pull for further discussion, if you could look at those, commissioners. We had to reprint because we stamped Kara's upside down. There's 2 copies. They have her stamp, and we were in a hurry. We just punched it on there. So, yes, it's just a reprint. But if you could look at your consent agenda, if you have any items that you wish to pull for further discussion, if you would let me know what those are. Otherwise, I will accept a motion to pass the consent agenda.
Consent.
If there are nothing to pull.
So moved.
We have a
G,
motion.
I'd like to pull G.
Pull G.
G and,
And
I have another one. I forgot which one it was, but I'd like to talk about G.
just G?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, then Brent, do you want to amend your motion to pass excluding
Yes, ma'am.
item G for further discussion? Commissioner
Yes, ma'am.
Modas as well, your second. So we have a motion and a second to pass the consent agenda excluding item G. All those in favor say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, same sign. And then Commissioner Gonzalez, item G on the airport leases.
Again, I think we talked about this several times. When it comes into the agenda items like this, I think we just need to put the amounts, and I know there might be a backup to it, but, I mean, sometimes we get the draft first, and we have to wait for the regular agenda to come out, and so I don't think it takes much to put the amounts here
On the side.
on the agenda, so we can just look at it and want to go back to the back, and I think some of this, to me, are still low, I don't know why they're so low. I mean, when you pay $120, for a hangar, I mean, I don't know who's making $120, and the highest is $250. I mean, I think we need to look at this.
Look at making changes
Yeah,
on
and
the
this
rental
180,
fees.
180. I mean, if you're gonna go anywhere else, you ain't gonna pay 180.
But a
So,
lot of people can get into there as well, yeah.
so I think we need to look at that again. I thought we had already done that already, but maybe not, but. It was, so.
Is he online? John, anybody from the airport?
And I think the
John?
board directed, I mean, whenever there's got something on the agenda, they should be here or should be in Zoom.
I think,
Yes, ma'am, I'm here.
John, yes, okay, yes, I thought you were there, yes. Do you want to speak about that?
Sure. I pulled the surrounding airports. We're in the upper end of the middle of price range. The two airports that are above us provide more services we do, and their T hangars are bigger than ours. So, my recommendation is, come next year, we need to raise the hangar rents, I think, so, just to keep up.
And can you give us what other offer that we don't offer, and,
Yes, sir.
You're just gonna give us a breakdown of.
Aransas County, for example, their T hangar's a little bit bigger than ours. They're $395 a month. Ingleside, they're bigger also. They're about like 50 by 40. We can put twin engine airplanes in. They're $400, $435. Sinton is $200. Bishop is $120. Alice has no T hangars. So, like I said, we're in the middle, but we're on the upper end of the middle.
Okay. And when you say they offer more than what we offer, what's the offer?
Space, it sounds
Oh,
like.
space,
Yes,
only
they're
space?
larger space, yes.
Space.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, their T hangars are larger
What
than
do
ours.
we offer our snacks and coffee and all that stuff? I mean,
I don't think anybody.
That's a plus,
Yeah.
no?
Mr. Cox,
Coffee, snacks.
Yes, sir.
do you happen to know their square footage versus our square footage?
Ours are about 1,450, I believe. Theirs are 1,500. Some are bigger, some are a little less, like 1,490. So ours are roughly 42 by 35. Theirs are 50 by 40
Okay,
or 52 by 40. I didn't do the math on that, but I know they're bigger
all right,
from what they were telling me on the phone. So
thank you.
they can hold twin engine airplanes to where our hangars, you can, maybe the smaller twin engine airplane, we might get in there, but it's a tight fit.
Okay.
Well, we can do an assessment on that,
Do an evaluation or
Yeah.
something, yeah. In the meantime, do we have a motion to pass
Yeah,
this?
so-
Yes.
So move.
We have a motion to
Second.
pass and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed, same sign. The motion passes. Thank you. Moving on to the regular agenda, item 1, discuss and consider selection of Acrisure LLC, Mr. Carlisle Insurance as the sole broker service, and of the Texas Local Government Code, adopt the order, authorize, and approve a professional services contract. It sounds like we have multiple things to do there. Would you like to explain anything, or Michael Robinson, anybody want to come and tell us what this is? Tim Everest, is he in here? You want to talk about it? Yes, risk management.
Good morning. Before the court this morning is the renewal of the professional services contract. Our current one expires November 1st of this year. This contract will take effect November 2nd and run through April 30th of 2025. The good thing about this contract is there's no cost increase compared to what last year's was $150K, this year's $150K. I believe this is a great deal for the county since they're not charging a percentage on the close to $3 million policies that we took out this year, so.
This is the same as we had last year.
That is
nothing
correct.
changed. I'm sorry, Dee, I didn't see you in the back there. I apologize. I would make a motion then to approve the selection and authorize the professional services agreement.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any other discussion, commissioners?
Yeah.
Yes, go ahead.
Is this a renewal or is this a new,
Renewal.
renewal?
The same
Are we
price
go-
as
are we-
last year.
I know, but are we going out to see if there's anything else out there? I know Carlisle's been with us for about, 15, 18 years now.
I think we're on our third contract with Carlisle. I know when Judge Canales came on, we went out for RFQ and RFP, and we've had Carlisle and.
How many renewals did we have on that
2.
contract? So you've only been here 2 years?
That's correct.
So the first year, so you have this next year is the second of your renewals, that the contract allowed for 2 renewals. Is that what you're saying? Sorry.
Carl's been with us more than that.
On this job, on this position?
Oh.
Yes.
I said,
Uh-huh.
they've been
Yes.
longer with
No,
us.
they've
I
been
know
our
they've been with us for a long
insurance.
time,
Yes, yes. Yes.
On this one here, and this,
Is that correct,
on this one
Michael,
here,
in the
on
back?
this one
Can
here.
you, do you know?
on this one here, right? But not, okay.
Michael Robinson, is that correct, what I was saying? They were awarded the contract, and this is the second of the renewal for that first initial.
Yeah, the court selected them, right, and they approved it when Judge Canales was here. And so, like I said, although he's been in business much longer than that time, he's only been with the county, because prior to Carlisle, we were with Higginbotham, I believe, or Swan.
But this is okay for us to vote now on that same selection. We don't have to go out for bids
That's
again or
correct.
anything. Yes, that's what he was asking. This is a renewal, yes.
Yes.
Okay. That's all I wanted was clarification.
Okay.
Yes. So we have a motion and a second. Any other discussion? All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, same sign. The motion passes. Thank you for being here, Mr. Carlisle, too.
Thank you, sir.
We very much appreciate it.
Thank you.
Item number 2, discuss and consider amending the health service agreement between Nueces County Armor Correctional Health Services and the hospital district. Mr. Hip is here, so I will let him talk to you about this, and it's basically the same thing we've done with all the other services that y'all provide for us.
Correct,
I'm
Judge?
sorry, go ahead.
Do we have to adopt the order?
I did a motion to accept and authorize the professional services. Do we need a separate order for that? You think we need, let's back up one. I'll make a motion to adopt the order authorizing them. Carlisle Insurance as the sole broker service, since he's saying we need 2 separate votes.
Second.
We have a second. All those in favor say aye.
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 Any opposed, same sign. I thought I said that in my first motion, but we'll do 2 separate if y'all want them. Yes. Back to you, Mr. Hip. I'm so sorry. Thank
No
you.
problem, Judge. Good morning, Judge and Commissioners. This item has to do, it actually has 2 contracts attached to the item. And the item is to remove the hospital district from the 3-party agreement between the county, the hospital district, and Armor for the purposes of removing us from the liability chain. And then the second agreement is to create a mechanism for the hospital district to pay the county the money that's necessary to cover the contract. And the reason the hospital district would like to be out of this agreement, at least in terms of the 3-party agreement, is for the purpose of getting us out of the liability reach. Not under this jail vendor, but under the prior jail healthcare vendor, the hospital district was routinely drawn into lawsuits about medical care provided at the jail, and that was simply because we were a party in the agreement. And in all the prior agreements and in this one, all the hospital district's role is to pay for the cost of health care at the jail. And that includes cost of health care at the jail, at the McKenzie Annex, and also to some degree with other money for the juvenile detention facility. So what we're asking, the board met yesterday afternoon, as y'all know, and approved an amendment to the agreement to remove us and to establish a separate agreement for us to pay you. And so I will get a signed amendment to you all. It's not in your packet, but I got the authority yesterday to sign that. And the change would be effective on December 1st. That's the next renewal or the first renewal period for the agreement. And then our intent is to use that footprint or that mechanism for funding jail health care agreements in the future, so that our role is with you and then your role is with the healthcare provider.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Commissioner Chesney would like to speak. Yes.
Thanks, Judge. My questions are just to make sure I'm understanding this. I understand where the hospital district is coming from on this. They want to lessen their liability. At the same time, I want to make sure in this last round, if I remember right, y'all had a say in the selection of this armor. Is that right, Johnny?
Our commitment, Commissioner, was to fund the agreement. The process that was used to select armor, if that's what you're referring to, 2 or 3 years ago, was a decision by the court. The hospital
Right, I thought that
district.
y'all maybe, did y'all not make a recommendation on that, though?
Commissioner, there were, I was on the committee to review the proposal, and because of some actions outside of our control, I had to recuse myself from participating in that. And then because the committee named me, particularly, I couldn't have my assistant provide our input into the agreement. You know, informally, we certainly were involved with Michael in formulating the agreement, what was not about the agreement, but the RFP, and then whatever was in the RFP that needed to roll over to the agreement. So we had input on that part of things, but we were not on the selection, no.
So you weren't because you had to recuse yourself. I mean, so you were, but you had to recuse yourself because it was only you, the only one named in the order. Is that what you're saying?
Well, what I'm saying is that I was appointed to be on the review committee for the submittals that were provided. And we began the process, but because of an event that took place that I had no control over, I had to recuse myself from participating in that and going any further and making a recommendation about the award.
Right. So in the future on these, because this will obviously go out again at some point, and any of these agreements that we're coming up on, excuse me, if the hospital district is just going to be a funding mechanism, then you would no longer be involved in the selection process or any of those things as well, right? Just, I mean, if you're trying to get out of the liability and just fund, then I understand it. I'm not criticizing it, but I guess that would be the expectation too, is that there would be no more participation on selection or anything like that as well, since you're just funding us.
Commissioner, no, I don't think that's the presumption. The hospital district certainly is going to keep itself involved in providing the known things that are needed for an RFP and providing informal input to the Commissioner's Court and to Michael and others. I could be on the review committee if y'all so appoint me, as long as I'm not having an event occur where I have to recuse myself. But we commit to staying involved, Commissioner, in the future processes of doing RFPs and helping develop the terms of the contract.
Well, and I guess I'm asking because I'm more, I mean, to me, the less cooks in the kitchen, right? And if y'all are not wanting to be a party to it, then my question is, why would you want to continue, as long as you're funding it and supporting it because you are, because of doing it, then I guess there'd be no need to have you on the selection committee anymore if you're just the funding mechanism and you're wanting to be out of the liability part of it, which again, I get. Then to me, it seems you would want to be out of all of it other than just providing funding, because someone could come back and sue you for being on the selection committee for that matter. I mean, if you're trying to get out of the liability, I would think you want to be out of all the liability.
Well, Commissioner, you know, to be honest with you, we haven't gone through all the details going forward with that thought process. Certainly the district is volunteering, you know, to continue in the process because of our expertise in this area and our experience with these contracts in the past to support the sheriff, or if there's a new sheriff or whatever at that time. So I think, Commissioner, for today's purposes, you know, we've kind of laid out what we want to do. We've laid out our reasoning and stuff for that. We could certainly have a conversation for what our role will be going forward in the selection and review process.
So, Jenny, are you there?
Cisco is.
I'm here on behalf of
Cisco?
Jenny. Yes.
So have y'all have vetted this, and this doesn't put the Nueces County in any worse position liability-wise or anything like that by doing this? Because when someone gets out of something, you know, you just gotta, at least you have to ask those questions.
No, we are about in the same position as we would be, and then regarding the funding, there would be a second agreement between the hospital district and the county so that the funding remains the same.
Okay,
I think-
and I'm all for getting these things, that, you know, we want to have them all in writing, because I think what I heard yesterday was the hospital district board voted to, without really getting any input from us, to just take away the spawn appointment that we've done in the past, and I thought that was always an agreement, but apparently that was just a handshake agreement. So I think, you know, we need to have these agreements like in writing, everything. If we're gonna have them on the selection committees, then we need to have them. If we need to have some policies, we need to have something, because, you know, the rug got pulled out for under us yesterday with spawn, or with the hospital district. I think that's what I heard. Don't know if it's true, but that they voted to, you know, take away our ability to
That's on a
make
later
recommendations to
agenda
the
item
spawn.
anyway. So-
Hey,
Board.
Yes.
Commish, you know, say something?
Well, I'm still talking. If you'll let me finish, then you
No.
can, but I'm still talking. And so what I think we need to do, Cisco, is we need to look at all these agreements we have with the hospital district and get everything in writing, because board members change, directors change, commissioners courts change. So I'm just saying we need to have everything we have in agreement with them. And I think I sent that to Jenny before, because I appreciate the heck out of our partnership with the hospital district, and they've done great work for us. But at the same time, it seems like a lot of the agreements we have are not in writing as to how we're dealing with these things. So I would really like to look at how we deal with everything we have with the hospital district, and put everything that we have in writing, so that we can,
We've been doing that.
have it all in
just-
writing.
Yes.
Little by little.
Yeah, we
come-
have been doing those things.
know-
I think that's just the last part of this, with this amendment and contract, yes.
Also, Commissioner, can you finish?
Okay, and I support doing this. I think it's the right, I get it. I think it's the right thing for y'all to do. Johnny, I get why you're asking. And I support doing this. But, and again, from my understanding, this is all we're doing here. We're not changing anything else with Armor. We're not reducing their performance bond. We're not coming back and trying to do anything else. I know there's some other things out there I hear percolating, but today, all we're doing today is making it towards a two-party agreement. Cisco, is that right?
Yes.
Yes,
No other changes on this at all for today, right?
that is correct. That's the only change for today.
Okay.
And we do have a written agreement with the hospital district regarding the funding, as you were inquiring about.
Okay, great. And I appreciate you telling me, Judge, that y'all are working on getting all those things in writing. I think that's real important. And again, I appreciate the hospital district and all that they do, and I understand why you're asking for this. So thank you very much, Judge. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Commissioner
I
Gonzalez.
just want to say that I agree with Commissioner Chesney as far as everything needs to be in writing, and I know we're working on it slowly but surely as it comes up, and, you know, hopefully everything will be in writing. It'll be a contract, written contract between Nueces County and the hospital district, and, you know, that we can understand each other, who's responsible for what. But I can understand that last time I know where you're coming from. There was, before Armor, there was an incident, there was a lawsuit filed, and then they dragged the hospital district into it. And I can understand that. But I think in the long run, you were in the committee because we asked you to be in the committee. I think we appointed you to be in the committee, not because the hospital district wanted you there or whatever, but I think that appointment came from us. So if we don't want to appoint anybody from the hospital district, because it's up to us. So, you know, it's our call to make that call. So, but as far as the written contracts, I think we need to really work on them, you know, between now and December, and see, you know, whatever we can get out there, do it. But, you know, and I support it because I understand it. It's third party, and I think that you're right. The contract should be with us and with Armor and the sheriff and the jail, right? So, and I think y'all only give us, it's like everything else. Give us the money, we'll take care of it over here. Right?
Correct. Yeah.
So, but anyway, I just want to let you know that we appointed you to be in the committee. Hospital district didn't appoint you. So.
That's correct.
Okay, thanks.
Good point, thank you. We have a motion and a second for an amendment to remove the hospital district from the agreement that we have now. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed?
Aye.
Oh, sorry, Brent. Any opposed, same sign. The motion passes. And then I guess we need a separate motion to approve an interlocal with the county and the hospital district to move forward with these amounts that you are funding, just like we did on the other contracts. So I'll make that motion.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any other discussion? All those in favor say aye.
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 Any opposed, same
Aye.
sign. The motion passes. Thank you very much. Thank you, Johnny. Yes. Item number 3, discuss and consider the selection of Balcones Field Services for dune permit application. Mr. Cross, thank you.
Pretty much just standard professional services contract that Alex in the county attorney's office helped me draft up.
So move.
Okay, great, thank
We have a
you.
motion. Did we have a second? I'm sorry, was that you, Brent? Oh, sorry. Commissioner Hernandez. We have a motion and a second. Any other discussion? All those in favor say aye.
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 Any opposed, same sign. The motion passes. Thank you. Item number 4, authorize escrow disbursement request for pay application number 26 and 2 payments totaling $109,308.88. This item number 4 invoice has been approved by the county engineer and the county judge, and all those in our committee that have been back and forth with review. So I will make the
How
motion.
much is it? It says here 84,000.
$109,308.
It says 84,000 here.
There's 2 of them together. There's
Oh,
84
the
and
bottom.
24. The total amount is 109.
The 84,000 is coming from Bank
You
of
know,
America
and I
escrow.
just saw something, I think there's an attachment.
That's on
executive
another
session?
item for executive. That's a
But they're
separate.
not included, that's not part of that, where some of this is incomplete work, or?
This isn't part of this. This part, Juan, you want to come up and talk on this? This invoice, everybody is in agreement that this invoice is payable. This work has been done on this invoice.
Good morning, Judge,
And
Commissioners.
Juan signed this invoice as well.
He signs
Yeah.
all of them, sometimes you don't want to sign them.
Well, this one he signed willingly. And we told him he was going to be here to say that.
Judge and Commissioners, we've reviewed the payouts for ABM, and we looked at the percent complete for the items that were submitted as part of percent complete, and we recommended.
On
for-
this payment,
on
only
the-
this one.
On this one,
This
on
one
number
payment,
26.
yes.
On this one here?
Yes.
Yes, sir, number
Only
26.
on this one.
109,000?
Yes, sir,
Yes.
that is correct, Commissioner.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Judge. Thank you, Commissioner.
Thank you. Thanks for being here, Juan.
No kinks, huh?
Sir, did you need a motion, Judge, or I didn't hear if there was one?
I made the motion. I didn't have a second.
Second.
We have a second. Any other discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any
Aye.
opposed, same sign.
Hey,
Item number 5, discuss and consider approval of a memorandum of understanding between Texas State through its Meadow Center and Clean Coast Texas Collaborative, and I believe that's Miss Ida out at the library. John, this is your item. Modest, I'm sorry, Commissioner.
It's John.
Sorry.
It's John. Yeah, Judge, we have a collaborative effort here for this project. It's pretty exciting. It doesn't cost too much. It's not a very big project at all, but we have several different departments involved, and so we just wanted to highlight just anytime we have this level of collaboration with the university and also with I think up to 4 departments here in the county.
Good morning, Judge, Commissioners. We're very happy to be here because this rain garden will make a very big impact in our library as an educational component, and we're very happy that Scott Cross has already communicated with Texas State and Christina Lopez, and he recommended them because since we have full architecture at the library and our librarians are always doing a lot of educational projects, and this will help to enhance. And of course, I have a great librarian, Crystal, who had a book. And one of the books that we found that said that a lot of the libraries are utilizing gardens, rain gardens, as a part of their water management and drainage system. And rain gardens absorb and filter rainwater, reducing runoff and storm drains. And what we're hoping to maybe one day, because of not just the architecture, but everything that we have going on, is to maybe one day even receive a certification by LEED, which is Leadership, Energy, and Environmental Design. So hopefully in the future, we can also provide that with all the projects we have going on in the library. And if, Scott, I don't know anything else to say.
Did you get a chance, I know the only question I had for you was to go talk to Mr. Pimentel
Yes.
on the maintenance and upkeep,
Yes.
and you looked at this and everything's fine. I know our budgets were cut quite a bit, so I wanted to make sure we weren't going to be hindered in any way for that, and I just thought it was best to clear that up right away.
Of course, the more you add, the more you hinder, right?
Exactly.
Yes, Judge, we've talked to Ida, and Public Works is going to assist with the maintenance part of it.
Good, good. Then I make the motion to approve.
I have a question.
I'll help out whatever
Yeah.
needs to do.
Oh, good.
Everett said he'll do the same, and I want to see this go.
Perfect. Commissioner Hernandez, I'm
It's
sorry.
it's a good project and all, but we're supposed to maintain this for 15 years?
Yes, sir.
And at any time within those 15 years, if they decide that we're not doing it proper, do we have to pay back the monies?
Well, what the library is also willing to do is, we also have funding in the library for building and maintenance, and we can always contact our volunteers, because currently we have the WIG garden, and our librarians are always doing story time, and we have parents who love the gardening aspect of the project that we have going on in the library. So, I mean, it's gonna be a very, very small area, and it's gonna be xeriscape. So when we spoke to Christine, you know, we can make it as minimal as we want, so it's not gonna be expanded with it's the very small entrance as you're coming into the library, there's a little gated area, so it's a very small area, but we will do the best in 15 years. You know, we will do everything we can. If, you know, something happens at Public Works or whatever, we will continue to abide by this project, because we really wanted to continue and expand the educational components at the library.
Well, it sounds like a good project and I support it. I just want to make sure,
Yes.
you know, that we are there and we'll do it right so we won't get
Thank you,
penalized.
Commissioner.
Okay?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you all for
And
support.
Judge, we didn't point out all the groups and mention the collaborative effort, but of course, Texas State University, the Meadows Center, also Clean Coast Texas, and of course Scott Cross with Coastal Parks, Edward Herrera with Inland Parks, Juan Pimentel with Public Works, and then of course our county library system are all involved, and I'm going to be submitting a small amount to help. It was a small grant, and so instead of spending, I think it was what, 50,000, Scott, right?
Yes, sir.
So instead of spending 50,000 and using 10% to cover, what was it, engineering costs, I think, I just said, I want to put in 10 from my budget so that we could actually utilize the entire 50 for the project itself, just to get a little bit bigger project. And then I got some heartbreaking news. It's not really heartbreaking. We knew this for a while, but I don't know if it was Ida or Crystal that mentioned the amount of students that are being pulled to our library system, or at least to the Keach Library. They come out of Precinct 1. They're not necessarily Robstown, because I was asking last week, because we had the big homecoming parade in Robstown, and it was also the Spook Fest, the Spooktacular, on the same day, and then I was told, well, we understand, but you don't get it. It's like there's, you know, hundreds of kids that will be there, and a lot of them are from Precinct 1 already. They're the homeschoolers, the families that go and participate. So it is still heavily Robstown and a lot of the other areas as well. But it's just one of those resources that happens to be parked in Robstown, but it's a countywide effort. It's all of us involved. And so I think that's just exciting to hear that.
Good.
So just to kind of let the public know that there's several groups and that it does benefit more than just one particular precinct. We're all involved. Of course, Commissioner Gonzalez has the Bishop Library, part of the library system, and so we still see kids come from there as well, but overall, I mean, it's a great resource.
And we also couldn't do this without Ana Velasquez. She's always helping us with our grants.
Ana, yes.
And of course, the MOU was, you know, reviewed by our county attorney. So we've always got a lot of partners that are willing to work with us and continue to working with all our projects. Thank you all.
Thank you.
Thank
Continue
you.
your support.
We have a motion and a second All those in favor say aye.
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 Any opposed, same sign. The motion passes. Thank you for being
Thank you
here.
very much.
Item number 6, discuss and consider authorizing and approving work authorization number 1 in the amount of $126,805. And Edward, I think you're going to present this one?
The project's located in Amistad Park, and it's a really good project, and essentially where we're going to be rebuilding a lot of the walkways and doing a lot of the lighting in the park, and there's additional things that we need to do. Commissioner Jag has developed that park to a really, really nice park, and we have the veterans component that's located in there. So we just asked permission for the work authorization for LJA.
Second.
We have a motion and a second, and this is funded by ARPA, right? You said,
Yes.
or something, yes. So we have a motion and a second. Any other discussion? All those in favor say aye.
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 Any opposed, same sign. The motion passes. Thank you. Item number 7, discuss and consider authorizing and approving work order number 2 in the amount of $69,803 for the Parker Pool project.
So essentially, Judge, Commissioners, this is going to be an improvement to our existing facility there. So we're going into the bathrooms, we're making upgrades to the showers, or trying to get the showers up there. There's some things that are necessary in the pump house that needs to be updated and done. So essentially, this is going to be a good project. We have thousands, actually, I think last year we had about 8,000 kids go through there, so
You have a combination of funds for this one as well. I think it's fully funded in Commissioner Chesney's item. So we have
Second.
we have a motion and a second. Any other discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed, same sign. The motion passes. Thank you. Item number 8, discuss and consider funding the following additional economic development contracts from Special Revenue Capital Credits Administration. We have a list of items, and the available funds for this total is $281,907. Do we have a total for these that we have listed out? I know in Port Aransas and previous, I have the numbers that we have funded in the past. I asked them to look up last year's amounts for us. We have.
Judge, this was a carryover item.
Right.
In the last session, and the available funds were supposed to be attached, but they've been carried forward. The funding that you're talking about is what's been given from individual commissioners. We have not funded countywide any of, I won't say any of some of these, but since we have those allocated or economic development contract funds from Special Revenue Capital Credits Administration, I just put this on to start a discussion to see where we could go with this, since we were having that discussion the last time, and this may not be the entire list. It was just to try to get some equitable funding to organizations to do a great deal of economic development in our county. And again, there may be some others that I don't have on here, to be able to fund them as well from this. And all of this is one time, or it's all one time unless we do it again, just like what we did earlier was one time, and we have to look at it each year. So I don't have a specified amount. I was just really kind of throw it out for discussion and let everybody kind of weigh in. And again, if there's others, that's why I put all other economic development operations throughout Nueces County to be equitable, to be kind of a catch-all. These are just some that I could think of that might be, might do some, might have some, excuse me, some benefit from these funds. But any of the money that you're talking about for Port A, that was through my precinct, I believe. I don't think we've given anybody else anything.
You're absolutely correct. I just had Peyton look up the numbers that were allocated to these different organizations in our last budget cycle. I didn't have her look up where they came from, so I wasn't sure if we wanted to start off with those numbers, since the funds are in that Special Revenue Fund Capital Credits Administration. So
Well, this would be more of a county-wide allocation like we're
Absolutely.
doing with some. And then if each individual commissioner wants to give additional, as Commissioner Modas so generously did for the Robstown Area Development Corporation last time, then they would still be able to do that. This is just to give some county allocation for people, for groups that do have long track records of outstanding economic development, working in this community. And then again, each commissioner can supplement in addition to that if he or she he or you, I can't talk,
Yes,
sorry. So
understand.
chooses, and you know, because we also didn't do outside agency funding this year, this would be a way to, you know, help supplement some of these groups that we all want to support, you know, or I think we all want to support. So however somebody wants to start with it, and I'm sorry, I don't have it with me, what the remaining balance is in that fund. I apologize. It was in the packet, and it's not in the packet. I don't know how it didn't get carried over because this was a carryover item.
The
I don't know
available
if Teresa has
funds,
that.
the balance is, the available funds for this is $281,900, basically. And I would first pull up the two to me on there, the South Texas Military Task Force, the United Chamber of Commerce, and the TWIA, those two. Last year, they were funded, I don't know if it was individual or countywide, or for $25,000 for TWIA and $40,000 for the South Texas Military Task Force.
They were
And I can't
funded by
remember-
general fund.
General fund for all of them,
Yeah,
for these,
I can't
so.
remember maybe Dale can shed some light on those. I can't remember
Yeah.
if we cut those out of the general fund or we funded those this time in the general fund.
We did cut those out of the general
We
fund
cut
this
those
year for budget restraints because we knew we had the fundings available in this other fund for this, since we get the money from the state for unused capital credits.
Yes.
So we did take it out, Dale?
We
That's
took it
correct.
out, yes.
Okay, and so how much was the United Chamber for TWIA last year? 25?
25,000,
And 40 for the task force?
yes.
Okay. Well, I'm certainly, I don't know how everybody else feels, but I think those are pretty important.
Do we want to do these individually? Would that be the best way to move forward, or
Well, those two are kind of the anomalies, I think, in here, and then the rest of them,
the rest of them
you
are?
could give the same amount to
Same
be
amount for the
equitable.
rest of them or something, yes, I agree. Yeah.
It's just, but I don't know but so that's 65, and that takes that down to about 220, I think, is what you would be, and so, and we don't have to spend all of it, but we
No,
could give, you know, 7, 8,000 to each of them. I don't know. I'm just kind of looking for where people want to go on this, but
I think that would
obviously-
be a good start. Just throw one of those numbers out there, what you want to do for the rest of them. Although, the number 9, I think we couldn't find it. I think the Hispanic Chamber joined with the, United
And they
Chamber.
might have judged.
Yeah,
but
so I
and
don't think
put
that's
that
a
on there.
separate, yeah.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you. I put that on there at the last minute because I thought they did, but then we pulled it up and there was still a website on it.
Yeah.
And so I didn't want to leave them off inadvertently. So we could pass it contingent upon that
Contingent
still
upon that,
being
yes.
in operation. And so with the amount that we have, we could give the remaining 10,000 each and then be done for the day. But again, I'm listening to whoever, anybody else wants to weigh in.
I'm good with that, but I would make a motion to do that, to make it easy. To fund the TWIA, the Chamber of Commerce at 25, South Texas Military Task Force at 40,000, and the remaining ones on the list at 10,000 each. From this special revenue capital credits, which would still leave us a significant amount left in our balance there for,
And I would like to see the RADC on there. I added them.
Which one?
The RADC, the Robson Area Development Corporation. I didn't know we were going to add these other groups, or I might not have made the effort to agree to scaling back the amount of funding and then.
I thought we already did them.
The
Well, I
RADC.
supplemented that.
Right, the
Oh.
RADC.
No, we gave them.
We gave them
No,
only
John,
10.
we gave them 10.
I know,
Oh.
but, I mean,
But they already got their 10 and then you gave them 20. So
Yeah.
then this would be equalizing it for everybody else. That was
Yeah.
the mode, because I'm gonna subsidize some of these others also.
yeah, no, and I don't have
So I
a
was
problem
just-
subsidizing. I just think that we need to also look at, like, I did this because the call at the moment was to scale back, right? And not knowing that this was gonna be like a phase 2, a second step in this. So I have concern that we only give them 10. Yes, I mean, we should fund those programs that we feel, we want to support that maybe focus in areas in our precinct. But I much would have rather seen at least a higher amount. They do cover a large area. They're doing a lot of great work. Have a board meeting tomorrow on all the projects that are going on in the western part of Nueces County. And we can argue that everybody has a worth there. But some are, I feel, a little bit more engaged in the community, and the Robstown Area Development Corporation definitely is one of them. I'd like to see at least 10,000 added more, and if we can, then I'll be happy and walk away. But I only added the 20 just because the original proposal was the 30, I think, for the RADC. Then I said, look, I'll make up the difference, but that was when I thought we were only funding 3 or 4 groups. Now, it's like, I don't mind funding all these others. I think they're well-deserved, but I only added because I thought we weren't going to make up the difference, and I wanted them to continue to rely on that revenue that we've provided over the years in the past.
I have no problem
So
adding
that was
the 10.
that's my only ask. If we can add another 10, we add them to this list for another 10, still keep what I had supported and what the court supported, they'd give a total of 40. Well, really only 20, actually. Only 20.
Only
Because
20.
20 came from
20
precinct
came.
3 funds.
Yes.
So.
I thought it was gonna be only those few agencies.
That's what I thought.
So-
That's what I thought. So
Yeah.
that's my
And
only
if we could
concern.
also, if we're gonna go that way, then we should at least add another 10 to the CCREDC. I thought we were done with those. That's what, I thought we had done those, and I was doing these as extras, but if we're gonna add to the RADC, again, some more, giving them now $40,000 from the county, which is a lot.
We're only giving 20 from the county fund. That is
Well,
his
they're gonna
personal
get 40
funds
though,
additional.
overall.
Yes.
But if they're gonna get 40 overall, just like I'm gonna, but I don't have the money to subsidize that much, so then I think we ought to give the CCREDC another 10 too then, because they certainly do more EDC work than anybody in the county times 5. So if you're gonna add 10 to the RADC, then we ought to add 10 to the REDC, and then give the rest of these 10 and call it a day. I mean, if we're gonna be equitable, because.
I'm good with 10 for the RADC on this list, and, I mean, if you want to make a motion, I mean, that's my
Add
motion, is
10
to
to
add
both, and we
10.
can move forward with
Okay.
this vote. Let's add
Okay.
10 to both, and then the 25 to the TWIA, 40 to the South Texas Military, and 10 to the other agencies. And it has been confirmed to me that the Hispanic Chamber did join with the chamber, so number 9 would come off. Yes.
So then, and then can we also add the 10 to the
Yes, yes,
regional
both
economic? Okay.
Regional
Okay.
and Robstown Economic Development to make
Okay.
it fair, move forward to get this going forward. Yes. I'm sorry, Commissioner Hernandez, did I
Yes,
interrupt
Judge, I'm
you?
good with the Northwest Business Association, but I have another group, but I need to talk to them first and see.
We can always bring it back. There's money left in the
Okay.
account, so you can always add that and bring it
Okay, I
later.
just wanna
But
make sure.
Looking at this list, what we have going forward right now,
Okay, so
I would
Judge, that
make
would
the motion to pass this with
Can you list
25.
it?
Can we list it? 25 going to the Chamber of Commerce TWIA, 40 going to the United Chamber of Commerce for the South Texas Military Task Force, and 10,000 to each, the Port Aransas Chamber of Commerce, Padre Island Business, Flower Bluff Business Association, Northwest Business Association, West Side Business Association, the Black Chamber of Commerce, the Robstown Area Economic Development, and the Corpus Christi Regional Economic Development, each of those getting 10,000 each. I'm sorry.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Teresa, I'm sorry, did you have a
Just
question?
wanted to state, so the total for RADC will be 60,000 for this year, and then for
Yes.
RADC, it'll be the 40.
20 from us, 20 from Commissioner Modis is
Correct.
personal.
But in
Yes,
total.
but it's total,
Yes, ma'am.
yes, yes.
Right.
I thought it was already 20. You can.
No,
you
he
can
had
more.
his own, we're adding, so it'd be, yes.
I put, y'all had supported the 20 that I put out of precinct 3 funds, and then we had the 10 additional, so that was the 30, because that was the original ask.
Doing 10
So
more,
I made
that's
the
40.
difference, like you had
So we're doing 10
said.
more, that's
So it's
40.
just 10 more, yeah.
So that's a total of 135,000 if my quick math is adding up. Somebody check me.
You gave 25 to everybody?
So we have a motion and a second to fund these various listed different organizations at those amounts. Any other discussion All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. The motion passes. Thank you. And that is from the special revenue capital credits, and that is using like 135,000 of the 281, so we will still have a balance in there.
And Your Honor, if I may add that contracts were not attached to this item.
we
We
don't
would
have any.
recommend approval of the funds that were just mentioned, subject to the drafting and review of the contract by county attorney.
Pending on the contracts, yes, we will add that to the motion, yes. And I am sure if anybody's watching, they will get those out to us very quickly. The motion passes. Thank you very much. Moving on to item number 9, discuss and consider approval of license agreements with Nueces County and MAR Insurance related to providing enrollment by MAR Insurance for health services and related matters. And I believe Alexandra and the county attorney's office has cleared this. Item number 9 is yours, Commissioner Gonzalez.
Was there any question they want to ask Dr. X back there? You want to come
Yeah.
up, Doctor?
Yeah, you want to talk about this, explain it a little bit to us, Doctor?
Good morning, Judge. Good morning, Commissioners. Basically what this is we are there at the Calderon Clinic. We have this open space that we're trying to fully utilize, and part of that utilization is making sure that there's access to health services, including services, education regarding insurances. And so that's basically what this is. It's just because right now there's needs for information regarding CHIP, Medicare, Medicaid, and Nueces Care. This is just an opportunity to have a local organization be able to educate the community on that. So that's what this one's about.
Commissioner Chesney, I believe, wants to speak or has a question. Yes.
Yeah, thank you, Dr. Gonzalez. I got the information you got to us, and I appreciate that. The question that I have that I just want to make sure we're being real careful on this stuff is, I get these are free services, but what I don't, and I'm not saying they're doing this on purpose or anything like that, but obviously they're going to develop a base for their business to grow their business, and I just want us to be real cautious. I mean, if we're going to do more of these, if we could like have a kind of a general plan, because this is a countywide type thing. It's in Commissioner Montes' precinct, but it is a countywide type thing. And I'd sure like to know what the plan is going forward before we start piecemealing these and doing them one at a time like this, because I do have I think it's a great program and I appreciate your efforts, but I do have concerns over the fact that when someone says it's for free, they're getting something out of this, and that's not a bad thing, but if we're giving them a competitive advantage to go out there and sell their services and develop their database by bringing all these people in, then there might be other people that might want to be involved in things like this. And so if that's where you're going with this, because I think one of the things that I got back from you, from Emily, was that you plan to keep this going and fill up the place, and that's great. But I just want to be real careful that we're not treading into helping one business promote themselves over other businesses that may do the same thing and may want the opportunity to do this. There may not be anybody, but if we're going to do this, and you got more of these coming, then if you could bring them to the court before they get approved, so that we don't have to table it and go back and look and do all that, because we don't want to hang you up, because I know you're blowing and going out there, and I appreciate it. But if you've got others that you think are coming, if you could in kind of advance come give us your general overall plan of attack out there, because I really don't know what the plan of attack for that is. And maybe, there might be some stuff that you bring that might help my precinct too. I don't know, maybe not, but so I just want to make sure we're not treading on promoting somebody's business and not over somebody else's.
So this didn't have
that
to
makes
go
sense. I
out
don't know.
for bids or anything because it's free
No.
services, Michael? Yes.
And
shaking your
Commissioners,
head.
we
Yes,
have,
thank you.
the county attorney's office would ask that we bring this item into executive to
Oh, I
discuss.
have number 10 on executive. You want both of these in
Both of them
executive?
together, I think we can discuss both of them.
Okay, well then, yeah, we will bring this back up in a minute.
Okay.
Yes. Uh-huh.
Sorry, I didn't know you wanted to go to executive.
9 and 10, both to executive.
What's illegal on this, Francisco?
The 551.071?
It's 551.071, a consultation with attorney.
Yeah. I
Consultation.
am so good, I
Yes.
remembered that number.
Yes, seeking the legal advice of counsel.
Do that already, though?
They're saying, but they want to ask
I
questions.
believe
in there. We'll
that-
bring it back after,
Yeah,
after
I'm just saying,
executive.
I thought we
yeah.
had, I thought it was going through the whole 9 yards, approved and sent back, and, so, I mean, I wish this would have happened earlier when we were going through all this, because I know that Dr. X was working with you guys for about a month, and the thing he got back was, it's okay, go ahead, it's a good thing, and now we come back and something else comes up, and so I think, before we release anything, we just need to make sure we got everything, all the Ts and I crossed, and then say, hey, let's get together and talk, right? I mean, probably we should have talked before, even the meeting, right, even the Commissioners Court meeting, because
And I believe new questions were raised that require additional consultation with the attorney.
They had a couple of questions, and I had it on number 10, but not number 9, but we'll just bring them both back after executive, make it quick. So,
Okay.
Okay. Item number 11, discuss and consider amending the Nueces County Animal Services Advisory Board bylaws and related matters. I believe they sent their bylaws for us, and if you look in your packets, we have some red lines that we changed in their bylaws. I think you were all sent those, Peyton sent those around as well. Since we changed the number of the members and we changed the chair to a non-voting member of that court, there were some additional changes that needed to be made afterwards, after their meeting. Has everyone had a chance to look at those? Do you have those, Connie?
Judge, I had read them and then sent back some suggestions. I'm trying to find if those got in, or I need to go back and find mine.
I don't, let me, is Peyton
I
on?
want-
Can she come let us know who has the latest version? I just have the one that we went through in there, I think.
Yeah, and I don't have, I apologize, it's at the office. I don't have the ones that I had marked up and sent back in, and I don't have those with me, but I
Here comes
did.
Peyton. Here she comes. We'll see what she says.
We didn't include Chesney's. Me and you had chatted about it a little bit, just because it was already stated in the bylaws that we saw. But I told Emily that he could bring it back up during court, and then she has the copies of his changes.
Were they minimal changes? Were they big changes?
It was just
What?
a few language changes
It
that
was
he wanted
just
to add in there.
wording in there or something? Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
And did everyone get a copy of Brent's changes?
I didn't circulate Brent's changes.
Did you, Emily? Do you know?
Not that I'm aware of.
No, I didn't know what we were supposed to do with them. I would just give them back to you because y'all gave to us. So I just thought you wanted suggested changes, so
Yeah.
could we table, is this urgent? Could we table this one?
We've
Since I don't
already
have those-
tabled it a couple times, but we'll bring it back for next meeting, so we all have a chance. If they could circulate Commissioner Chesney's changes, and we will put that on for the next meeting, so.
I just scratched on it. I'll type it up and get
Thank
something
you.
to.
Maybe that's
people to
why
look
I
at, too.
didn't.
I'm sorry. I got them from y'all. I thought y'all wanted them back, so that's my bad.
Yeah, sorry. So I'll make a motion to table this to the next November 8th meeting. We have a
Second.
motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed, same sign. The motion passes. Item number 12, discuss and consider amending the Commissioners' Court policies and related matters. Those have been through the county attorney's office as well, and there were some additions. Commissioner Gonzalez had an addition, and the county attorney's office had on, to add the proposed additions to the policy, I believe. What we had asked on the commissioners bringing up items, the county attorney's wording says, before commissioners submit agenda items that affect county services located wholly within the precinct that another commissioner, the submitting commissioner shall notify the commissioner representing the affected precinct of the item by email, in-person meeting, or phone call prior to the submission of the item to the Commissioners Court. It didn't, and then Commissioner Gonzalez's had a little bit more detail to it, about assigning whether it is a countywide project or a commissioner's project. Precinct project, sorry. If the project is a precinct project and is overseen by a precinct commissioner, the funding source should come from the commissioner of that precinct's budget. If the project is a countywide project, the assigned commissioner will keep the judge and the other commissioners updated on the project and will be open to recommendations on the project.
Funding comes from the county general
The
fund?
funding would come from,
Or other resources?
well, multiple funds or wherever necessary. And all of it comes from multiple funds, because we, even on private projects, we sometimes use.
But it's in writing, I mean.
Yeah.
So, I think it just gives you, it's more of a broad, and, because we even talked about it today, countywide, you know, I mean, so, but if somebody's been assigned to countywide, then that person, you know.
I don't want to limit
Commissioner's
it,
court,
though, if it is a precinct project and is overseen by a precinct commissioner, the funding source should come from the precinct commissioner's budget, if available, or approved countywide. Maybe we need to add something in there,
Or
because,
supplemented by the county.
or supplemented
Yeah,
by the
yeah.
county, by approval of the court,
Normally-
because we do that all the time on projects
But
with,
normally,
yeah.
Yeah, because if we, I'm sorry.
I don't want to limit us to where you don't have the funds for your project, because we're not able to move forward to vote on
Normally we
that.
do, I mean.
Commissioner Chesney has his hand up too, I'm sorry.
Go ahead, Commissioner Gonzalez, if you want to finish. I didn't mean to
Yeah, I'm just
interrupt
saying,
anybody.
Normally what we do is, when we do a project, when it usually comes from our budget, of course, you know, we should know ahead of time if it's not gonna have enough funds, and we request for other funds, you know, so from the county or from other sources, right, resources. So, but anyway, at least, we know that most of the funding comes from the precinct commissioner, because that's his project, so.
Yeah, but, can I jump in now?
Yeah.
Yes, sorry.
Okay, so it's two different ones, right? So the number one is, I think is fine. I'm unclear on the one that Commissioner Gonzalez put in, because it says as a project is a precinct project and is overseen by the precinct commissioner, the funding source should be from the commissioner's budget. Well, it isn't always like that. I mean, Bob Hall Pier was an example. So I can't fund Bob Hall Pier. That's a countywide project that I've been kind of watching over, because it's in my precinct. So I don't know how that would work. I mean, we don't usually assign commissioners to look over stuff. It just kind of happens if it's in their precinct that they look over it. So to me, that this is getting a little, I don't know how this would work. And I just got this one, so I'm trying to look at it quick.
We can table it.
So I don't know how you could do that, because like you have projects in your precinct all the time, and some of them are funded by your budget, some of them are funded by the county budgets, and you're still going to overlook them because they're in your precinct. You may not, quote, be assigned. So I don't know how the funding source could be the commissioner's precinct budget, because sometimes, depending on the year, why not have a precinct budget? I don't know. It all may be countywide funds. So that one's a little harder to.
You know, you finished, Commissioner?
Yes, sir.
You know, and I'm glad you brought that up, because it's funny that you mentioned that, because when we first started this project, you were the one that said that Commissioner Gonzalez can go ahead and work on it, that he's already working in the Calderon building and the clinic. When we separated from the city, you know, you were the one that suggested that I continue working with the Calderon clinic, because I was already, you know, signed, and you made a suggestion when we split up, we can use the Calderon clinic, you know, but it benefited us at that time when you said that, right? But anyway, this is, and this is what I'm saying.
I'm sorry, I don't know what you're talking about, but go ahead.
Well,
I'm sorry.
We forget, I mean, I forget a lot of things too, but, you know, but the thing is, you know, what I'm trying to say here, if, like this morning, we mentioned a couple of projects, or countywide projects. Well, countywide project, we all helping, right? I mean, we help with the pier too. We give money to the pier. Not that I'm gonna go and run the pier. I mean, that's your project, but we help you, right? But I just think if there's a project that's gonna maybe nobody else wants to do the project. You know, something that started from the beginning, you know, and it's now where we're at, because, I mean, nobody was involved in that everything that's happening at the Calderon building, nobody ever recommended or asked to be involved, or, you know, I mean, so I'm just saying there's gotta be a project that with the commissioner's court approval, the commissioner will work on it if it's a countywide project. That's only, the only thing I'm saying, you know, that, I'm not saying it's still gotta be approved by the commissioner's court, right? I'm not saying just because, you know, unfortunately, this started way back then when we were trying to, split for the city, and it was okay then for you to mention the Calderon building, and that we're gonna get it together, Commissioner Jack is working on it, and, you know, so.
Can I add to this real quick? I think this is excellent if we just leave out the funding source, because we're gonna use whatever funds
Right.
we vote on.
That's right. I
So
mean, I don't-
if we leave that sentence out about you have to use the funds in the
But
precinct
I
or
don't-
county,
I-
because
it was just
we
my-
changed that,
it was
yeah.
just my
Let's,
recommendation to put
let's,
something.
if we leave that out, then it's just basically the communication and
problem.
this here, your comments, the next line is perfect. And I think we can move forward with adding that with just the assigned commissioner or commissioner who has control of the project or moving forward with it, as long as they keep us all apprised and in the loop about it. I think that would be a good addition. Cisco, do you agree with that?
I mean, that was just my issue, Judge, is that
Yeah.
second sentence.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm okay with the rest of it, seems fine, but I just didn't understand how that second sentence was gonna work about the funding.
Yeah, I'm afraid it limits us, so I'd like that taken out, because we
fine.
use whatever
I
funding we
have
can get a hold of
no
for
problem with
projects,
that.
yes.
Give me
So-
some money, give me some money.
Yeah, exactly.
So this is the second sentence. It would read, if the project is a precinct project and is overseen by precinct commissioner.
Take that out.
Just
Yes,
remove the whole
yes,
sentence.
yes.
Would that also include the AMI office?
It's any project, yes.
Okay.
Yes.
We're going here forward, but, you
Yeah,
know,
yeah.
what's on there, what's out there is out there.
These additions to that are fine. The other question I have about this policy is I don't see what we voted on last week on the board appointments in here. Am I missing it? Am I looking in the wrong place, Brent? Did you see that on the deal? I know we approved that already. Is that not in this red line?
In the red line that was attached on the agenda, it was not
most
on there,
current?
but we did email it to the commissioners yesterday evening, and I believe I emailed it to you, Judge Scott,
Okay.
around 5:30. It does have the section on the board appointments.
It does have the
Yes.
section. That would be the only other thing that I saw that was missing. And I know from the previous meeting, we went through the rest of these red line items before that the county attorney had added or changed wording up a little bit.
All we're doing today, Judge, is trying to add these two things in.
Those,
Right,
well, the
and then-
one's already been added, and then we need to vote on what we talked about the last meeting, because we tabled it. When Jenny went through with her highlighted, we took out the Commissioner's Court Manager because we no longer have that department, and
Right, but I mean, what are we,
we voted on your policy on the board appointments, but now we need to
Right.
update the county policy to add those into here, yes. Do you have anything?
right, so in other words, but today, there's two proposals before us to add again, right? So we need to vote on those two proposals. And then, the other one's already been voted on, the one that you're referencing on the appointments.
on it?
Last quarter.
Sorry?
Last court, we did
Oh.
vote on doing this already.
I
I
can
thought
double
we
check in the
only voted
minutes.
on the board appointments. We didn't vote on the red line because we got to this point and wanted to come back for some. Am I losing? Yeah.
Well,
So
we don't.
the red line that y'all got in your emails, I printed out and circulated this morning. Commissioner Chesney, Emily was going to email it to you, the one from Cisco, and I put that on y'all's desks. But y'all didn't vote on that red line because we just got it yesterday. So
And
Okay, so,
That, we voted on that one the previous court. I thought that's the board appointments.
yes, you voted on the board appointments, so then we crafted the language and included it into that document.
Okay.
So the one you
we
got today is a
voted to
reflection of
approve it,
last
And
time.
now we need to vote on those two items to add to our policy.
Yes,
Okay,
ma'am.
I get it. I'm sorry.
okay, so you want to vote on these two new ones first to
Yes.
approve those? And then, I can look, I mean, Emily did send it to me this morning. I can look at this real quick, but you're saying,
I'll make the
in this-
motion to include the, with Commissioner Gonzalez's additions to the county attorney's language on the agenda items that affect other county services located within another commissioner's precinct, this policy.
Judge, as amended, can we do one at a time? Because he's got to amend one of them.
Oh, yes, as amended, yes, I'm sorry.
What you said then.
So could we just vote on one at a time, like the one that, no amendment?
To
If that's
take,
okay, and then he needs to, it's his proposal, so he'll need to accept the amendment.
okay, we will vote on the county attorney's language to add to our Nueces County policy on submitting items within another commissioner's precinct. This language, I'll make the motion to pass.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, same sign. Now, Commissioner Gonzalez, do you want to amend yours, omitting the second sentence?
So move
but-
amended.
Yes, I'll second that motion. So we have a motion and a second to add Commissioner Gonzalez's proposed additions, omitting line 2 of the funding source. And all those in favor say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, same sign. The motion passes. And then the next item that was circulated by the county attorney's office on the board appointments that we voted to approve, I need a motion to approve those again and add those to our county policy, I assume. That's.
No, you need to, no, we've already done that. You just need to approve the red line
Accept
version.
the red line version.
Yes, ma'am.
Accept the red
And
line
I'm-
version of our Nueces County policy,
Which is a red line version.
including, is yours not in color, Commissioner? It was, it's,
Oh, let me see.
yes.
Maybe it is colored.
Yes, under 3A12, the last Commissioners Court with our county attorney here,
I
we
don't have one in
talked
there.
through each one of those.
12?
Yeah, 3A12.
I don't have one in there.
You didn't get that one printed?
The
I'll
one
give you
that's in the
mine.
packet is not the correct version. I put them on your desk, everyone's desk this morning, because we got them
It
last
didn't
night.
include the board.
Oh,
I
on the
can print
boards
another
is
copy
the
for
only.
you.
Right.
Wait, it should be right here.
It was paper clipped.
Yes, this one is it, but it's not in color either, so.
Oh, the
This
policy?
is-
Well, I got that one.
You got that one? Yes, okay.
So you're talking about the
yes.
boards.
The boards were added to that is why, but we already voted on I'm sorry, I'm not speaking in the microphone. We voted last meeting to approve the board appointment process. The county attorney did the wording and added it with a red line version in your packet to move forward to adopt the Nueces County policies, including the red line version, including these two items moving forward. Any other clarification? I'll make the motion to pass.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to pass. Any other discussion? It's on, can you tell us what page that's on real quick on the board? Is it on 10, did I think? Sorry.
It is on page 11,
11.
section 4. It's subsection 4, B, C, B and C has a 1 through 6.
11.
Two-step applications are submitted and received. Interviews and open session, interviews, nominate one different candidate. We talked about all this. Each commissioner or county judge has 2 votes. There's a
Judge, I'm not sure
tie.
why we're having to vote on this, on this again, since, but whatever.
I
I mean,
thought
however
we
you
already
want to do it.
did vote. That's why I said it was
Yeah,
pretty
I
simple.
don't
They're
really
just
know.
adding it.
Yeah, I mean, we've already voted on all this. I think we don't need to vote on voting what we've already voted on again. I mean, it's just putting the language in the policies and it's been
Printing
adopted.
the policy,
So-
it's been adopted. That's what
I don't- I
that's
don't
why I was
think-
confused as well, but if we are confused on the red line items, if they've not been added, I will go ahead and make a motion to clarify and make sure this is the Nueces County policy moving forward with these 2 items in addition to, so
I second that to clarify, Judge.
Thank you. Commissioner Hernandez has seconded that motion. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed, same sign. The motion, I'm sorry. It's already been done. It's already been passed, so it's really redundant, but thank you, Commissioner Gonzalez. So the motion passes. Moving on to item 13, discuss and consider the application procedure and timeline for each of the following boards. We have several boards coming up in your packet, if you will look at item 13. We need to, I guess, make the motion for
put it out.
Tara to go out to put these out.
So moved.
And so we have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
A motion and a second for Tara to post all of these boards coming up and.
Except for the spawn board.
Except for the spawn board. Do you want to pull that one?
Yeah.
Yes.
I'd like to have more discussion on the spawn board. I don't really get this. I don't know how they can just do this. So I'd like to leave it on there for now until somebody comes and explains how this just happens unilaterally, that they make a decision without us. So I'd like to leave it on there
Johnny
because
Hip
right
is
now.
here. Let's ask him real quick if he can explain if they have the authority.
It's not-
Did we have
I'd
the
like-
authority? How
I'd
was
like-
that given to y'all?
Yeah, I'd like
I
the
just want to
county
ask
attorney
a
to talk
question.
to.
Yeah.
Good morning, Judge and Commissioners again. Under our agreements with SPAWN, well, let me just back up a second. The agreements that we have with SPAWN are between the hospital district and SPAWN.
How did we start doing the appointment process? Was that given to you when we created the hospital district, or when did that come about?
When we changed our agreements with SPAWN and moved into the, sort of the next iteration of where we are, there was this was probably back, I think, in Judge Borchard's era, in the court then. And so, when we redid the agreements, it laid out again, but explicitly that that the relationship was between the hospital district and SPAWN. And it also created the ability for the hospital district to appoint 3 members of the SPAWN board. And so, because the contract is between the hospital district and SPAWN, and these appointments relate to their appointments to the board, the district, in the end, is the one who makes those appointments. But to answer your question, Judge, back in Judge Borchard's era and the court that was in place at that time, they requested that they have a part of the process of identifying or appointing board members. So since the contracts are between SPAWN and the hospital district, the district still makes the appointment. So what we worked out was that Commissioners Court would make nominations to the hospital district board for consideration of appointment to the SPAWN board. And with one exception, all of the nominations that have been presented by the court have been the ones that the district appointed to the SPAWN board. The one exception was many, many years ago, and that was because the board had information that the nomination that was made, that board member, it was actually a reappointment, and that board member was not attending SPAWN board meetings on a regular basis.
But this has been going on for how long, Johnny? I don't know when boards are 20, 25 years?
Commissioner, I don't have a calendar, but it's that far back.
Yeah, I don't support this. I mean, again, nobody's come and talked to us about this. It's the same, it's a unilateral decision. We've had this in place for, I don't know how long ago Judge Borchard was there, but 20 or 25 years. SPAWN board is an important board. This Commissioners Court back then and has done it for 20 or 25 years, has had an agreement with the hospital district, and here's a unilateral decision without any input. That's not a partnership. So I oppose this, and I think we ought to keep it in there, and I think we ought to keep doing it. If they don't want to take our suggestions, so be it. But this was the agreement that was made way back when, and it should be adhered to unless we as a court vote to unadhere to it. And if the court wants to vote to not do it, then I got no problem with that if that's the case. But I don't support it because I think we need to be involved with SPAWN, and I think we need to be involved in the hospital district. And the contract is between the hospital district and SPAWN, but we can hide behind that all we want. but we appoint the hospital district board members. We were the ones as a court, not this court, but a court, set this up to where there is a contract between the hospital district and SPON. So we're super involved with this, and to not be involved and to just, say that it's not for us to be involved with, that's not, in my opinion, that's not right. That's not the spirit of the agreement. That's not what the intent was when it happened all these years ago. It's gone fine for all these years. Every recommendation we've made has been taken, except for the one you're talking about that was probably well before any of our times. So I'm offended that they can't even come to us and talk to us about it with everything else we're talking to them about. You would think that would be a common courtesy, that would have happened. So, and again, if this court doesn't feel that way, then that's okay. I'll live with it and move on, but I think we ought to keep it the way it is, and we ought to keep making recommendations to the hospital district.
Judge and Commissioners, let me add that this morning that I got authority to tell you that the hospital district board will defer to your preferences in with regard to the SPON board appointments, considering the environment right now and the issues that are before all of us, that the hospital district will be looking into, that the board is willing to defer to the court's preference.
So are they going to come back and re-vote on that issue they voted on last
They will.
meeting?
I'll
and
put
take
that
it
on their
away?
agenda,
Okay.
yes.
Okay. Well, then we'll leave it on, and we'll
Okay.
move forward with ours, and thank you for being here. Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
thank you.
Excuse me, Judge, I have a
Yes,
question.
go ahead.
I just want to clarify and make sure. I don't remember. Did we vote on the procedures? On those procedures for the board?
Yes, we did. The county attorney put them in wording, so we were re-voting on something we had already done. They just wanted us to make sure and look at the item list by list, but those procedures had been voted on in the court before that. Yes,
And have
you're correct.
we gotten the wording from county attorney?
Yes, it was on your thing and in your email.
No, I got it. I just want to make sure
Yeah.
everybody got it.
Okay, yeah. Thank you, Mr.
Okay,
Head. I
go on.
appreciate it, and
Sure.
we appreciate y'all putting
All right,
that on there.
thank you all.
Yes, yes. So we have a motion. Did we get a second on this for Tara to proceed with the appointments?
Except for SPON board, are we
We're
gonna
putting it
resend
back
that?
on. We're gonna resend that. Commissioner, you want to add all of those?
I don't have a problem with it, but
Well, they just said they're going to pull it back because of the situation as well. The hospital district is going to
that's fine.
do that, yes.
They're going to pull it back because they
Yes.
want
Yeah.
to pull it back.
Yeah, because they want to pull it back.
All right.
Johnny got a message.
Go ahead and
he
rescind
just needed
my
it.
motion to include SPON board appointment.
I'll second that if somebody hasn't already seconded it. Sorry.
I couldn't hear the motion, Judge, I'm sorry.
I'm going to rescind my motion to include SPON board appointment.
He is amending his motion to go back because he had excluded the SPON because of their vote, but since SPON is putting it back, they're going to go back and on their agenda
Based-
next
based on
meeting
their-
and put it back to
based on their
us.
request.
So, based on Johnny Hip's conversation. So we have a motion and a second to go out for each of these boards that are open positions and do the application process for Tara to present all of them who are very serving and put it out for people who want to apply. We appreciate everyone who applies to serve on ours, and we encourage you to go to the Nueces County website and do so. A motion and a second. All those in favor, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, same sign. The motion
And Judge,
passes. Yes.
I need to pull it back up, but what I didn't see, hold on one second. What I didn't see on the, red line version was that was only for 4 boards, the Port, SPON, RTA, and the hospital district. Were the only 4 articulated boards. We're not doing this board process for every single
Every
board. It
single
was just
board,
those
yes.
4. So I just needed that to be
Good catch. Yes.
clarified. Otherwise, we would be doing interviews for the rest of our lives.
Yes, thank you. Okay, moving on to item number 14, discuss and consider the upcoming Commissioners Court meeting dates, workshops. I know our next meeting is November the 8th, then 29th and December 13th. I do need to ask the county clerk's office, I know there will be a special meeting because the canvassing of the elections falls between that November 8th and 29th date, so we will have to have a special meeting for that. And I don't think you have to have isn't there a lesser number of commissioners that have to be present for that, I'm told?
Yes, and
Yeah, you don't
the
have-
county clerk has to.
Yes, yes,
We've got two.
yeah. She hasn't given us a date yet, is what, I'm just telling everyone to be aware that we will be adding something in there, so. If there's no changes to that, there is no motion or anything, just to let you know of when our dates are coming up. Moving on to item B, grants. Discuss and consider the submission of grant application to the Tucker Foundation for the Keach Branch Library digitization project, excuse me. That's a mouthful.
Yes. Good morning. Nueces County received notification of award funding opportunity from the Tucker Foundation. The foundation partners with community libraries to meet the particular needs of the community. The Keach Library has prepared an application requesting funding to support the digitization of the Family Robstown Record Star, Nueces County Record newspaper. The grant application is requesting funding in the amount of $25,900 with no match required. We request approval in the submission of the application.
I'll make the motion.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any other discussion? All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed, same sign.
Aye.
Did you want to say
In
something?
favor of.
Yeah, yes, sorry. It was-
Good morning, Judge, Commissioners. Thank you all very much. And I just wanted to add that Mr. Darrell Keach and his family did donate all that microfiche when we first opened the library. And, but microfiche is kind of extinct, so we've been trying for a couple of years to try and get it digitalized. And we, Crystal has been moving on it, and it's gonna be about $60,000 or $75,000 project that, so now we'll have it all digitalized, and I'll just get online, and we'll be able to do that online.
Perfect.
Thank you all very much.
Thank you
Have
for
a good
being
day.
here, too. Moving on to item C1, discuss and consider allowing the county staff to proceed with the process of renaming Bernice Drive to Bernice Lane, including authorizing the notice to be posted pursuant to the Texas Transportation Code 251.013. And thank you, Mr. Pimentel.
Yes, Judge, thank you. Yes, we're requesting, our department's requesting to allow staff to change the name from Bernice Drive to Bernice Lane. And this is for confusion between Metrocom, so that way they know that this exists outside of the city limits within the county.
So
So moved.
we need two votes here, one to change the name and then authorize the public hearing, or put it on the November 3rd?
Just a vote, just public hearing, Judge.
Just the name change?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, okay.
Yes, ma'am.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Oh, sorry, Commissioner Chesney, I say it too quick and you're a little bit delayed. Aye, yeah. Any opposed, same sign. The motion passes. Thank you very much. And we don't need a second vote on that. We'll just put the public hearing up for the November 8th meeting.
That's
Yes,
correct, that's
okay.
correct, Judge.
Item number 2, discuss and consider Nueces County collecting plat application fees within the ETJ and the county properties along with related matters. And,
Judge and Commissioners, I know this was in the previous court about allowing or having Public Works do the fees for the plating. And I know we've been talking about it, and there's a list of fees that were submitted, and I guess we're requesting for approval
Well,
or the process.
what I really want to know was, since it's in my precinct, and I've been requesting it, Francisco, what's the latest on my request that I've been asking you and Jeannie for this, for us to get started on this thing?
The request is related to the fees that the commissioners could potentially charge for the plating. We were, as of last night, we're still waiting on those numbers from Public Works. I'm not sure, I believe Public Works may have just stated that is ready.
Why,
the numbers you gave initially were the, city numbers, and
That's
there was
correct.
a difference. The city is allowed to make money on those, on fees. The county, I think the county attorney said we were not, so we were gonna have to adjust our numbers. We had to do it to just the fees, that, the amount of costs that would be incurred, actual costs, that we could not charge fees to increase budget.
Good, I got a question on that. If you don't mind, Judge, I'm sorry, I want to
Oh,
interrupt.
no, go ahead.
Well, I get confused when I hear that we're not allowed to make money or revenues. Well, we make money everywhere else. You know, we get revenues from the taxes, we get revenues from the pier.
Yeah.
We get revenues from the park, you know, the coastal parks. We get revenues, I don't know, I don't understand, when we say we can't make any money, we can't charge. I mean, those monies are gonna be generated back into that department if we create one to supplement a staff or supplement paperwork. I mean, so I don't understand when, this is the third time it comes up, that's why I kind of, this really.
I think that was exactly what Jenny said. We could, if I recall correctly, and I'm not, Jenny's not here, so I'm sorry, Cisco. Something about that we could cover cost, and we needed the amount of time and effort and cost that it was going to take you to do those. But we couldn't really generate like a tax, a fee for something to increase, make over that amount. Weren't you asked that? Do you remember that one?
No,
Yeah.
I'll be honest, Judge, that was
Yeah.
last night at 7:00.
Yeah, I meant
So-
in court, when we were here last court,
No,
we
no, Judge, I
discussed
was-
it in court, so maybe you weren't in court when we talked about
I
it.
wasn't
But
aware-
that's all I recall
Yes,
about it,
ma'am.
it was something to do
What-
with that.
So Dale, let me ask you, Dale, how do we make money?
It all depends on how the law's written. The law's written a certain way that we can make funds on certain areas, and then I have to rely on what the attorneys say on this, because there are some written requirements where some items where municipalities can do some certain things where the county can't. So there's some items where we need to make sure they do the review on it.
Francisco,
Commissioner Chesney wants to speak
Oh, okay,
too.
go ahead.
No, go ahead, Hernandez.
Francisco, are you saying that the law says we can't, make money?
Depending on, as the auditor was saying, depending on certain statutes for certain items, we have a specific statutory amounts that we're allowed to charge on. In this situation, or in this circumstance, we are only allowed to make the amount of money that we use to operate and to run the program, which is, I believe, what was the request that we're asking from Public Works, to help us determine what the cost is to run the program so that we can generate that amount of money. So that is the inquiry that was
So
made.
you want Public Works, if they, want a set fee of, whatever, $100, $500, you want them to break down that amount and, tell you all how much time it's gonna take to generate that?
In general, that might be one way to do it. The main idea, though, is that however much it costs to run the program or to operate it will be the cost, what will be the amount that we charge.
Juan, do you have any idea how costly this can be for y'all?
Judge and Commissioner, it's gonna vary. You know, it might be a simple plat, or it might be a plat that has 2, 3 sheets, or, 100 sites or 500 sites.
Yeah.
So it all varies, and I think
Commissioner
that's.
Chesney has a question too before you
Ye-
finish, yes.
Yes, and then like the way it's on the attached document, it's based on the number of acres and then the number of lots.
Exactly.
So it's all dependent on that, so it's.
And if I may, a fee schedule could be used to account for the differences between the properties or the types of platting that might be done, to account for the amount of work that is being performed.
Like
to
that
do the
schedule that I had one that said, what Baxter County was charging for 1 acre, 2 acres, or what?
Yes, that's correct. Like if it's less than 1 acre, it's a certain fee. If it's between 1 and 5 acres, it's a set fee. And then if it's over 5 acres, then it's another set fee. So it's a set fee per acre.
Okay, so you're saying, Francisco, that they're supposed to break it down on, I mean, if it's a set fee, depending on what they're doing with the acreage, okay? And same amount of time, wouldn't it be? To look at the paperwork and get it done?
That's a question for the people that would be administering the program, which would be Public Works.
But you guys are asking that question.
Yes, for confirmation to confirm that the fees that we're charging are consistent with the amount of work that's being done.
Juan, would there be much difference in that, depending
No,
on?
I mean, looking at the fees that are in the attach, I mean, they're comparable to to the money, to what's gonna be.
The same amount of work.
Yes, that's correct.
Mike? may I-
Commissioner Chesney is up
Yeah, I'll wait
next,
after
sorry,
Commissioner
yes,
Chesney,
uh-huh.
sorry.
Part of the reason this can't go forward either is because I'm still waiting on an advisory that I asked for from the county attorney in regards to whether we need to even be involved with this. There is new legislation that just passed that has been sent to me, and or not the legislation, that the notice has been sent to me, that we may not even need to be involved in plating anymore if we do certain things. I've also asked the county attorney to reach out to the Coastal Bend Home Builders Association because they helped write this legislation and there's law on it. And so I haven't received that either. And I'm not saying that in a negative way. I'm saying that's part of the reason that we need to even know if we have to be involved in this at all. Because if we don't have to be involved in this based on this new legislation, again, I'm not 100% sure on it. Haven't seen the legislation. Have been in communication with county attorney's office on this to get it and to get them in touch. The Builder Association has indicated to me they haven't heard from the county attorney's office yet. So I would again, Francisco, ask y'all to please contact them because they have all this legislation. They help write the legislation. They have legal counsel on this, and they can give you an update on the status of whether we even need to be involved as a county in plating anymore. That's number one, because there's no point in doing all this work to come up with these fees if the court decides, if I'm understanding this legislation right. Again, haven't seen it, not 100%, just getting this from a text, that if this court decides we don't even want to be involved with it anymore, then we don't need to worry about how much the fees are and how much this is and how much that is. That's first and foremost that really this court needs to address in regards to that. So please reach out to the Coastal Bend Home Builders Association and get with them. They will get you in touch with the people who wrote that legislation. I may be off base on this, but I'm just trying to get that done before we keep, doing all this. And then second, to simply add fees, if in fact what I've been told is not correct, to simply add fees with not engaging the development community and not bringing them in and having conversations with them to explain is also something we need to be doing, because my feeling is we should be getting a piece of what the city charges. They're already charged a lot for this. To charge them again and add additional development costs is going to have a financial impact on this county and this community. So if we have to stay involved, then we have to engage, this development community so that they can weigh in. And again, if we're doing part of the work that the city is charging for, we ought to be getting a piece of theirs, not necessarily looking, in my opinion, charging people more for what they've already, they're thinking they're paying all there is to pay, and it's not cheap to get it all done at the city. So again, we should either be getting a piece of that, or if this legislation is correct that I need to get an advisory on to the court, please, then we may not even have to be involved in this anymore. And if we don't have to be involved, then that takes a lot of work off the plate of Juan and his group, and great. If we have to be, and I'm not understanding what they're texting me, then we need to know that too. So I don't think we can do anything until we get some of these ducks in a row, knowing or not whether we even have to be involved based on this new legislation. So Cisco, can you please reach out? I can give you the lady's contact if you don't have it, and talk to them, and they'll get you in touch with the team that put together the legislation. They can get you a bill summary. At least let's do that before we push everybody to get numbers that we may or may not even need.
Commissioner Modas wants to speak next. Sorry, Commissioner Hernandez, then I'll get you right afterwards. Yes.
So, and that was kind of where I was going to go. I think this is an excellent idea. I'm not saying that we shouldn't. I just want to make sure that there's no kind of double burden, right? That would be my only concern. Now, if it's done like that in other counties, then it's maybe a conversation we need to have. It's like, hey, it's about time that we catch up with what other counties do, right? If they're doing the city and at the county as well. If they're not, then that would be my only concern. Let's just hold on. I know we want to get this pushed forward. I support the concept of it, but I agree with Commissioner Chesney. Let's just wait. If we can wait another week or two, maybe we can get everybody lined up as far as legal, public works, get all that input together. But I think overall the idea is a great idea. I'd like to wait just a little bit before moving on it. That would be my only concern on this.
Commissioner Gonzalez?
It's a good point, Commissioner, but so in the meantime, Commissioner Chesney, if the city is charging for the plating, so somebody in the commission, in the county is not getting their share part of it. So what's going on? How come the city can move forward and continue to charge, but not the county, if it's in county property? The ETJ, it's in city and county, so the city has a little more power in the ETJ than the county. But if the statute says that they were supposed to reimburse the county, and they haven't, so maybe.
We contacted the city about that. Yes, we did. And the county attorney did have conversations with them, and they said, yes, our MOU with them says that they would reimburse us. They said we had never given them any fees to collect, that those fees that they were charging were city fees, not county fees. They had never collected any fees for us.
That's hard for me to believe that, but.
That
Unless
that
they got
was
it-
what we
unless
were
they have it in
told.
writing.
Yes.
Unless they have it in writing, yes.
Yes.
But again, if it's not in writing, it's not there, right? But I don't, the city really owes the county, as far as I'm concerned, they owe the county for those plating fees. I mean, I don't know what, I don't know what I don't know what it is, what's the city and what's the county. So I haven't ever seen a form, Juan, if you get a form of what the city charges for plating and what does it say? You
Yes,
know,
sir. Yes, sir. We have the breakdown from the city.
Because I like to see how they
Basically, what
charge.
you did on a breakdown on, right? They were the same numbers or
pretty
some
much,
sort, yes.
But
Have
is
you
it-
checked, does the county, any other counties do that? Sorry, Commissioner
You're talking
Gonzalez.
about plating fees, Judge?
Yes,
Yes,
uh-huh,
they do.
yes.
As a matter of fact, I got a call last month from a county requesting what our fees are. And, because they're also trying to implement fees for plating purposes.
They're trying to start, they don't already do it?
Correct.
Yes,
But
okay.
they're in the process of doing
Okay.
it. Plus, there's
Can you
outside
check
counties.
with TAC maybe and see if any other counties do this? And
Yes,
maybe
ma'am.
we
I can
could
check-
all
I can check on
utilize
that.
that information
Yes,
moving
ma'am.
forward, yes, yeah.
I think we should do that, and I just don't understand, like Commissioner Gonzalez said, why is the city allowed and we're not? What are other counties allowed and we're not, just Nueces County? I think somebody has a powerful lobbyist, that's what it sounds like to me. And we should do whatever is gonna help Nueces County, and if collecting fees is the way to go, and I wanna see some law, Francisco, on paper, that says we cannot do that. I mean, you guys
Commissioner
keep,
Gonzalez, oh, I'm sorry.
you guys
You're
keep
through.
talking about that the law has changed, okay? If the law has changed, show me something where the law has changed, okay? Because apparently it only changed for Nueces County.
It's House Bill 3697, and we can review that in executive if that's something that the court would like.
I would.
And Commissioner Chesney, do you want to speak, or is that okay for us just to move this into executive?
I don't know what we would do in executive, because I'm just gonna read three, and that's exactly what I want to do, is House Bill 3697. It says, this legislation to make changes to the county plating process no longer needs to plat if streets, alleys, squares, parks, or other parts of the tracks are not intended by the owner of the tract to be dedicated to public use. So there's language in 3697 that specifically states the potential for the counties to not have to be involved in plating anymore. So please, and I think I sent, that information on, so please get with the authors of the bill, however you want to do it. And that needs to be brought to the court again in a separate item to say, look, if this is what the law is, if these people aren't doing it, we don't even need to be involved in this anymore, and we're done with it, and we don't have to fight with the city over stuff, and they can do the plats and we're out. And then Juan's workload goes down immensely. I'm sure he'd love to not have to worry about plats anymore. I'm not speaking for Juan, but I've had to go through a lot of this with him, and nobody loves to do this stuff. I agree we need to be compensated. We're doing it. It ought to come from the city's portion, but this law has to be looked at, because I don't think we need to even be involved in plats anymore.
Well, I agree, Francisco, let's look at the law. And my other question is, why are other counties allowed to do it and we're not? Is it everybody does it at their own discretion?
We don't represent the other counties.
No, I understand you don't, but apparently they're allowed to do it.
But in the past, counties that had fee schedules and fees, and that were collecting fees or submitting fees, they would collect fees. Our county apparently did not submit any sort of fees to collect.
So just because we didn't and other
Doesn't mean we
counties are
can't.
allowed, and to prosper from those fees, we stay in the caveman era, and because this is the way it was done.
And now the law may have changed, and that is an item that we can discuss in executive session, the changes that have gone into effect.
I'm all for that.
Okay, so you want me to pull this into executive as well?
Yes.
Okay, moving on to item D, purchasing. Discuss and consider conditional selection of waste. Do we need to vote on moving that into it? We don't vote on that, right? I just pull it in, yeah. Discuss and consider conditional selection of Waste Connections, DBA Corpus Christi Disposal Service for solid waste collection and disposal services. Do you want to speak on behalf of this? Yes,
Yes.
Michael.
Judge, we received 3 bids for this item, and it was attached in your agenda. The low bidder is Waste Connections Lone Star DBA Corpus Christi Disposal. They're the current provider, and Public Works recommends approval. The expense is paid by the user department budgeted funds. I understand Mr. Gilmore with Republic Services came and spoke to the court earlier, which is his right, and I would advise the court, as I always do, whenever we bring these IFB items, you have 3 choices of how to approach that and from a decision-making standpoint. The first is to award to the lowest and best bidder, which I always recommend. The second choice you have is to reject all bids. And the third choice you have is to award to not the low bidder. But if the court chooses to award to someone who is not the low bidder, I would request that we table the item and then come back and give that low bidder who's not being selected the opportunity, as it states in the law. They have the requirement under 262.027C. They have an opportunity to appear before the court to present previously unconsidered evidence concerning the lower bid as best, which may include evidence of the bidder's responsibility. And so that.
Can you comment to a little bit about what Mr. Gilmore said about the process and not being followed or something, just so we have a clear understanding of whether we should move forward or if something in actuality wasn't done correctly? Yes.
Right, yes. So as you'll notice on the bid tabulation sheet, there's a column there for addendum number 1 and addendum number 2. And I'll inform the court that addendum number 1 was a provision of the tonnage reports, which indicates how much material was being pulled out on the dumpsters over the last year. Addendum number 2 was a 1-week bid extension. That was the content of those 2 addendums. The low bidder did not provide those documents in their bid packet. Those items are not listed in my list of non-responsive items. And so as I had informed Mr. Gilmore, that those items not being present at that time are not a disqualifying factor. And so what usually happens if we have documents that are missing, when the court provides a conditional selection, we will send a letter notice of conditional selection to the vendor who's been conditionally selected, informing them that we need a contract back, and we may need additional documents such as like a certificate of insurance, maybe a 1295 form, maybe some addendum documents.
We've done this in
we
the
have
past.
Yes, and we have to have those. We have to have those signed addendums before the county can enter into a contract. So after this meeting, when the conditional selection is done, we'll go into negotiation phase with whoever's selected. We'll work with the county attorney's office to make sure that all the documents are present to bring back, and we'll bring it back for execution at that time.
Okay. Commissioner Chesney has some questions, I think.
Thank you, Judge. And I don't know if this is a Public Works question or a Michael question. My questions are some of the other comments that Mr. Gilmore made. I do want to go back to well, let me do it one at a time. So, Francisco, y'all have vetted this, and Michael has indicated that those are not documents that are not considered non-compliant. Are you verifying that on behalf of Nueces County that Mr. Robinson is right as our attorney?
This is item 3D1.
Yes.
3D1 is legally sufficient.
Legally sufficient. Do you have any other questions, Mr. Commissioner?
Finish?
If he's looking, yeah, I did
He
have
said
questions while he's looking. Is regarding some of the other comments that were made, who does check these disposals? Who does check to make sure they're in compliance? Are there really OSHA violations? Has anyone checked that? Because obviously those are significant allegations made by Mr. Gilmore. And if someone hasn't checked those things out, I need to know why. If someone needs time to go check those things out, then that's fine. But I do think, we at least, need to know if we're doing something that's an OSHA violation, or not we, but them. Sorry, not we. We're not doing it.
Commissioner, I talked to my staff, and this is the first time that this has been brought up to our attention, and I'll make sure that I get with my staff. It is. We'll notify the court, but we'll take a look at it, Commissioner.
He said he sent photos around to all of us.
Yes, ma'am. Those photos were sent to us.
To you as well?
Oh, this morning, yes, ma'am. So we'll take a look at it, and I'll get with staff on it.
I mean, okay, so I'm gonna go back. That was my, if you don't, and that's fair. I mean, I don't think I've even seen them either. And I'll look at my email because I'm online here. So back to Cisco, I mean, are those non-compliant documents? Or are they whatever he said they were, is Michael right? You know what I'm trying to say? Is it something that doesn't make them in non-compliance? Do you know the answer to that?
I don't know the answer to that. The only item or note that I have here reflects that this item is legally sufficient.
And I think I sent something to you all on that, and I can't remember if you responded. I have to pull up my emails to see if indeed y'all verified that. But I do, I mean, I have to say, I mean, if someone makes you aware of an allegation
I don't know that.
or of something that could be wrong with something, and if we really are, I mean, we at least need to look at this. So, I mean, I get it, it's last minute, but I mean, I think we at least need to table it to determine if these people are in compliance with OSHA and are doing what they should be doing. Because I mean, to me, that could be significant if we now have been put on notice about it and then we just go ahead and do something without checking. I mean, I think that could be a little
100%
problematic.
agree. Commissioner Chesney, I would make the motion to table this to our
Second.
next meeting, November the 8th.
I got, before we table, I just have one
Yeah,
thing.
I'm sorry.
Michael, of course, no bidder is a low bidder, but I'm concerned too, what he said. So one, your team monitors this process, I guess, whenever there's a complaint or what? Or do they do this on a routine basis?
Yes, sir. We'll take a look at it.
No, I'm saying, but do y'all normally do it on a routine basis or when there's a complaint?
Normally, I mean, we're out there, our staff is probably out there, looking at it, Commissioner. And, but this is the first time this has been brought up to our attention.
But it
or
was
to my
brought up
attention.
this morning. Has anybody been out there to look at it since then, since you got the email?
No, ma'am, not yet.
No?
No, ma'am. So I'll get with Bobby and my staff.
Okay, but that's something that I'm saying, Michael, that we, sometimes, although we have a low bidder, but if there's issues with a low bidder, I have a concern, right, that we probably need to look at the next one, but I think that,
So yes, if you don't mind if I interrupt real quick, whenever a situation like this comes up, what the law provides for us is an opportunity to invite the low bidder to come and speak to their responsibility on whatever issues or questions that the court has. And then the court, upon hearing that, can determine if they have satisfied the court's interest in the matter or if they have not. And if they have not, the court has then have provided and met the legal requirement of giving them an opportunity to speak on their behalf. And if they have not satisfied the court at that point, then the court is within its rights to award to the next low bidder.
We have a motion and a second to
My-
table this to the November 8th.
I'm sorry, Judge,
Go ahead.
I just wonder, because I did have some experience while I was working back there in purchasing. I myself had a slip and fall because it was water or fluids. Because does the jail still throw their leftovers into that dumpster?
Oh, I can't speak to that.
I have
No?
idea.
Well, where do they throw their trash, Mike?
You'd have to talk to the sheriff's office about that.
No, well, I'm saying, where do they throw their trash?
Again, I would have to give it to the sheriff because I don't know where he puts all his trash. I know there's a dumpster that sits in between the two buildings. Juan, people probably know best what's in that trash. I don't.
Because when I was working there in your department, I used to see the sheriff's department take their, I guess, leftovers, their cleanouts, and they would dump all that stuff into the dumpster.
Right.
And some of those, whether it be water or fluids or whatever, they would leak out.
Yeah, I remember.
And yeah, they do need to be sanitized. So, we need to make sure that's happening.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to bring back on November the 8th, table this item. And in the meantime, Public Works will let us all know their evaluation after going out and looking at these, since we did receive photos and a complaint of violation. So all those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed, same sign. Thank you.
Aye, Judge. Sorry.
Yes, sorry. Item number 2, discuss and consider conditional selection for modernization of technology infrastructure for cybersecurity equipment.
So, yes, Judge, this item, we received 6 bids. The recommendation is to conditionally select the following vendors for items A through D2, SHI Government Solutions. I'm sorry, I skipped one. The Cybersecurity Refresh, Insight Public Sector, Inc. is recommended. For Network Security Refresh, there were 5 different areas there. A through D2 is SHI Government Solutions is recommended. Items E through J, Insight Public Sector, Inc. is recommended. Items K through L1, SHI Government Solutions is recommended. Items M through M7, Salt Creek Technologies, LLC is recommended. Item N, Insight Public Sector Incorporated is recommended. And for Hyperconverged Data Center Security Refresh, items CDW Government LLC is recommended. The IT Director recommends approval. The expenses to be paid within ARPA funds, and my understanding is that the total cost is all within the amount that was
The amount
allocated.
budgeted, so.
Yes.
Yes, I make the motion to pass.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any other discussion? All those in favor say aye.
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 Any opposed, same sign. The motion passes. Thank you.
Thank you.
Moving on to item E, the auditor, approved capital budget change order number 126.
Thank you, Your Honor. As we're going through the process of migrating over to Workday, we found some items that need to be some revisions for. Most of this information for these increases for your capital projects are from interest earned, and you'll see a lot of them is just an increase of unallocated funds. Some of the items, like in 1921, at the very bottom of page 1, we did see additional interest, but we've already allocated some more portion of it with the course of approval, of course, B and C, but there's still additional funds of $48,000 going into unallocated funds for the 2016. On page 2, you'll have all these are interest increases, and you'll see the largest one is 1925 of allocating an additional $1.8 million into the unallocated funds of your 2021 COs. For our PPSCO funds, these were additional interests that we have. These funds were already allocated through your approval, of course, with additional 14,378 funds. We're trying to get these all cleaned up to make sure we have the balances ready to go when we go to Workday. Submit budget request for the project channel 126 for your acceptance and approval. I'll be glad to answer any questions you might have.
We have well, I don't think you can walk out and make the motion. I'll make the motion to approve. We have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
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 Any opposed, same sign. The motion passes. Thank you. And item number 2, approve the monthly financial report, P-card report, and unreconciled P-card transactions.
This is for your period through August, so we're getting closer to year end as we need to get close to it. But we've got, again, a lot of reasons for this is our old software not getting the information to have. And as you'll heard, there are some unreconciled costs from our P-card. We're working with the departments as well as purchasing to get these resolved. And they are working on that, but there's still some significant amounts. I'll go through this a little quicker than I would normally go through this for time. For pages 4 and 5, you'll see the balances for most of our operating funds, with the general fund being the most important. And you'll see we're at $47 million for fund balance, but we know the period of September, which is our largest one coming up, is where the majority of the balances come from and the expenses come down. As we know, most of our revenue has been collected for the period. So we expect that to go down to about where we thought we would be as our budget cycle goes through. On pages 10 and pages 11, this is where we get our balances for our self-insurance fund. And as we go through the process of our group health, as you see, for August is $366,657. As y'all know, y'all did approve a transfer of $4 million from the general fund over to our health insurance fund because of some very large expenses coming up from our health insurance fund. And this is one of the reasons why of where our fund balance is already at 366. And we know through the period of the last period of time we had for September, we had over $4 million worth of claims, and entire claims, not just one, just entire claims of over $4 million. And we know we have some coming up in October, November, December that are significantly high. So that's why the funds were needed at that time. If we go to our revenues, show where some of our positive numbers are is on page 16. Page 16, you'll see our collections for revenue. You'll see we're already in August, we've already collected 101% of our revenue. That's very promising. The largest one, of course, is our interest, and our interest, as we know, through the process of our inflation that we're going through now, those interest rates are very high, and we're receiving a significant amount of money through our revenue. And you'll see investments year to date is $4.8 million for year to date activity. So that's a significant amount. The rest of the balances are the process. So let's go to the ending of the balances for our funds. On page 61. Page 61 shows you what's left of our expenses, and I want to commend the commissioners as well as all the department heads trying to limit some of our costs. And as you see, we got 25.1% of the budget remaining. We still have to do some of our transfers, so that number will go down slightly because our budget is $11 million when we spent $3 million, so that is expected to go down. We have 8% left to go. So we still want to try to get where we're around 85 to 90% of our expenses, and that is promising, and that's where we expect it to be. That's our report for our finances. Let's go to our P-card balances. Our P-card balances, we showed you what our total costs were for the 11 months, and that's on page, it's page 5, but it's page 5 of the P-card section of it. That's probably 80 pages in. We show $3,823,214 worth of total expenses, and we give you a breakdown of each. There's no time to go through that, but the one that I want to try to bring your question, go to the final 3 pages of your report, or final 4 pages of your report. You'll see what we call unreconciled transactions. These are transactions that had someone issue a P card, and these transactions have not been reconciled or resolved or verified. And that's where some of the delay has been going on. We've been working with the departments, working with purchasing, but we are still getting a significant amount of numbers that are here. You can go through each of them. I think the total is $86,000 of unreconciled cart charges. We need to try to get this resolved before we go to work day, so we get this, so we know the balances are correct. I know I went through this very quickly, but that's the 11-month report for August 31st of our financial report, our P-card report, and unreconciled claims. I'll be glad to answer any questions you might have. Otherwise, I submit it for your acceptance.
Motion. We have a motion to accept. I will second that motion. And is there any other discussion? I know one of the comments we made on the P-card things, we wanted to possibly put out a notice again for everyone to do that, but it looks like the vast majority of these are in 1270.
Yes.
That's not like you can put out a call to
I know
all the different departments.
a lot of this was
It's like,
because
yeah.
I was an employee before, the one there, they had some changes like every other departments. We're trying to get those resolved. And some of this are trying to find receipts and stuff, so it's an issue. Now, when we get to work day will be a little more stringent in how some stuff does, and you get more notifications.
Okay. We have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Oh, sorry,
Aye.
Brent. Yes, any opposed, same sign. The motion passes. Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you. On item F1, discuss and consider the ratification of the Aetna stop-loss policy effective from 10/1/2023 to 9/30/2024. I signed this just the other day. We didn't want this on consent so that I could bring this up as well. We did not want to fall behind on our stop-loss insurance, but this was voted on in the court on 7/26/23, that court date. So this is really just a ratification, but just in all fairness and transparency, wanted to let you know that this contract was just recently signed. So there should be, I guess, no action since we already voted on the contract before. It's just an update.
That's correct.
Yeah, just to let you know the contract was signed.
Judge, it's a ratification of what it says on the agenda.
Yeah,
You're
so we
wanting to-
probably should vote to, yes, vote twice on the same thing again. I'll make the motion. I signed it, so yes.
Second the motion to ratify.
We have a motion and a second to ratify. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Same sign.
Aye.
And we all know with that stop loss policy, it is very important, and we didn't need to get behind on that. Item number 2, discuss and consider approval of the hire right agreement to provide background checks services. As a county attorney, are y'all fine with moving forward? I think the last conversation I had with Human Resources is yes, y'all had received them back. We were good with the.
We had sent an update to Human Resources on 3/18 related to our thoughts on the agreement. We were just waiting for them, for Higher Right, to send the changes, most of which they had accepted. I believe there's just one change that had not been accepted that.
Have you received some other information,
So
Mr. Soleil?
I spoke with the county attorney this morning, and the agreement was to move forward with the customer service agreement. We're waiting on some additional amendments for the addendums that they sent, but because of the agreement by Higher Right to comply with our request, the county attorney felt confident we could move forward and just wait on the additional information. I did speak to Higher Right this morning. They are 3 hours behind us because they're on the West Coast, so it's about 9 o'clock there now, and they have the attorneys drafting the document as we speak, and I anticipate getting that today.
So we can make a motion. You're saying the county attorney is telling us it's okay to make a motion and approve contingent upon them following through with that agreement and sending back that change with the county attorney's changes on there.
Yes, Judge, and it's really critical because we are beginning training and workday next month. We're considerably behind with choosing a background vendor. And so we really need to get the process started because they need to integrate into workday. And as I mentioned, the training is going to occur just beginning right after Thanksgiving.
Do you agree with that, Cisco? Moving forward contingent upon y'all receiving that accepted changes? Possibly today?
There was one clause that they had not agreed to that I don't know if
It's
that was a business decision or if.
It's the indemnity clause, and it was already agreed to in the customer service agreement. The indemnity clause was just, the county attorney thought that they overlooked it in the addendum, which was just a social media addendum, so it's not really that pertinent to our customer service agreement. What matters mostly is the customer service agreement. We're confident because of their willingness to comply with us that this will be done in the revised documents. Of course, we won't sign if it's not.
Commissioner Chesney, you have a question?
Cisco said this is a business decision. We tabled this once before to get final review or get further review from the county attorney and give us legal opinion. So before we can make a business decision, you want to remind the court here? Do you want to go in executive session again, or what do you want to do? Because we need to know what, I mean, I can't vote for this based on a business decision if you don't remind me what this is, and if it's still unresolved, I don't know what I'm going to do yet.
I didn't have the indemnity clause on my notes, but I had another clause that perhaps I could remind you of that in executive session. But
It sounds like we need to hear something from this on our lawyer, Judge, because indemnity clauses are kind of important.
Okay, we'll move this into executive as well.
Number 2.
Yes, number 2. Moving on then to item G, IT, approve a 4-year renewal purchase with Tyler Technologies for Odyssey SaaS hosting online from October to September 30th, 2024. This is year 4 of the 6 in agreements that has been done. It is budgeted for, everything is paid, so
Yep.
I would make the
budgeted.
motion to approve.
Wait. Oh, so, I don't know. There a second? Discussion.
Huh? Oh, I haven't, there, you're gonna second it for discussion?
No. Well, I'll second the discussion.
Yes, thank
I might
you.
not vote for it, but, I got to discuss, I just, I hate to see, when I see something here, this is a 1 year, so it's gonna cost us how much for that 1 year?
This one is at, what's in there, the 800 and,
But that's for 6 years, 1 year, or 4 years?
that's 1 year, yes, sir. This-
1 year,
yes.
826,000?
Yes, the 6-year agreement was a total of $4.6 million.
Okay. And this is for upgrading the what?
This is for our case management software used in the justice courts, for our jail management system, and for our attorney module, that the DA's office uses.
Case management, wasn't there somebody, okay, Tyler Technology. Wasn't Tyler Technology was supposed to, kind of gradually be updating some of this? I mean, is this a yearly basis thing or what?
Yeah, we do receive updates. We started out with like version 2012, and we were on 14 whenever I got here, and now we're on version 2019. But right now, they have a big push to get to 2023, so we're working on that now.
And you say case management, are you saying case management for case management or?
This is for our courts.
Anything
This
that
is
they
for our
do?
district.
Anything that the court does?
Yes, sir, the district,
the
county,
courts.
and JP courts. Yeah, so this is our court case management software. So all cases run through this software.
Our courts and the jail.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, and the jail as well.
I mean, is there anybody else that can do it cheaper than Tyler?
I'm working on that. It's a 6-year agreement. We're kind of stuck with it. This is year 4. It's not too early to, so we've already started
That's the
looking
agreement we
at it.
made for 6 years.
Yes.
Yes,
This
yeah.
is year 4 of
Is
the
it fourth
6.
year?
Yes.
Yeah,
Uh-huh.
so next year it'll go up a little bit more, and then the final year it goes up a bit for that final year. And I hope to find, there's never been really good competition in this market. At least I know when we started. But there are other packages out there. This is a very popular one, but I'm really hopeful that we can find some competition. I do expect to be going out for bids whenever it's time.
Next year?
Yeah, next year we'd, right, so we're working on, we started on it the last fiscal year. We're working through it this fiscal year on getting competition candidates and looking at demos. And then we'll hopefully go into a bid process next year and see what we can come up with.
So this is really takes care of all the fines and fees and everything else for the JPs,
Yes.
right?
Yes, it does quite a bit. I mean, for the county, we operate off of 3 things: the ERP system, our Microsoft that manages everything for us, and this case management software are the 3 things that pretty much comprise all of our business.
Can the JPs through this software?
Yes, JPs use the software as well.
Communicate each other, or can they see what the other JP has?
We control internally, we control access, but yes, you can, for the most part, you can see a lot of the information, but some of it's left confidential while the cases are open. But for the most part, at some point, it's going to, at the beginning, a lot of it's public information, and at the end of a lot of cases, it all becomes
So what I'm
public.
trying to get at, if a guy goes to JP in Robstown or Agua Dulce, then goes to JP in precinct 2 over there in Judge Rodriguez, way on the other side of will they pull it up? Will they come out? If they I'm sorry. Will they pull it out? Will it come out? I mean, will it show that this person was already in JP court 5-1 or 5-2?
They have to go to the precinct where it happened at, because when you get cited, have an issue with this, or if a case is filed, it'll happen within that precinct. So that's your constables, deputy sheriffs, or your DPS. If they cite someone, whosever area it was in, that's the court that they have to appear at.
And I thought we're supposed to go to the software where once you key it in, it's everywhere. In other words, I mean, they're all JPs. I mean, you can't keep anything from a JP. They all do the same thing. You know, there's nothing confidential because they're all clients and they all have clients. I mean, defendants, but I'm just saying, I thought at one point there was supposed to be a software that if I key it in precinct 2, and then precinct 5 and drops down, also has the same person, keys it in, it would pop up. You know, showing, hey, this guy's over there precinct 2 already, or he's a warning precinct 2, hasn't complied with precinct 2. What happened? That's all. I thought
Yeah, if you can see that they have a case in there. I'm just talking about working the case. If it was filed, if it was a case that came up in a particular precinct, then that's the one that owns it, but others can see it because
They can see it.
yeah, if you had somebody that got cited in both locations, and one could see that it happened in the other, so that they would know that there were multiple infractions.
you could see that?
Yes, yes. And of course, they can pay their fines at any of the JPs or here at the courthouse as well and online.
And I don't know, it's a lot of money though.
Yes.
Okay, that's all I have.
I have a motion and a second. Do you want to change your motion, Commissioner Gonzalez, to second it?
To second it?
You seconded it for discussion, or do you want to pass? Are you okay with? Since
But I don't like the
you look
amount.
to
I
have
don't like
heart-
the price.
Yeah.
But that's all we got.
That's all we got.
And it's a
And it's
contract,
a
right?
contract. It's been here, this is the
all right.
4th year, so.
I guess so.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, same sign. The motion passes. Thank you.
Thank you.
Killing us.
Yes, lots of cost. We are now at executive. And we pulled a lot of items in here, so. Public notice is given that the Commissioners Court may elect to go into executive session anytime during the meeting to discuss matters listed anywhere on the agenda when authorized by the provisions of the Open Meetings Act, Chapter 551 of the Texas Government Code, to the extent there has been a past practice of distinguishing items for public deliberation and those for executive session. The public is advised that the court is departing from that practice and reserves the right to discuss any listed agenda items in executive session when authorized by law to do so. In the event the Commissioners Court elects to go into executive session regarding an agenda item, the section or sections of the Open Meetings Act authorizing the executive session will be publicly announced by the presiding officer. In accordance with the authority of the Government Code, Vernon's Texas Code, Section 551.071, 551.072, 551.073, 551.074, 551.0745, 551.076, 551.086, 551.087. The Commissioners Court will hold an executive session to consult with attorneys, including matters related to litigation, deliberate regarding real property, prospective gifts, personnel matters, including termination, county advisory bodies, security devices, and/or economic development negotiations, and other matters that may be discussed in an executive session. Upon completion of the executive session, the Commissioners Court may, in an open session, take such action as appropriate on items listed in an executive session. Item A, consult with the county attorney regarding an offer of settlement from Abraham De La Garza's attorney, Robert Hale, regarding De La Garza's employment claim and related matters, Texas Government Code 551.071. Item B, consult with the county attorney regarding the possibility of any counteroffer from the county, possibility of authorizing county attorney to delivering counteroffer from the county attorney Robert Hale and related matters, Texas Government Code 551.071, discuss and take action on the same. Item C, consult with the county attorney and outside legal counsel regarding certificate of final completion of ABM project 855-30950, change order number 6, and pay application number 27, number 28, and number 29, and related matters, 551.071, discuss and consider action on the same in regular session. Item D, consult with the county attorney regarding legal demand by Wood, Boykin, and Wolters, representing Haggerty Consulting, Inc., dated October the 10th, 2023, and related matters, 551.071. Item 3A9, discuss and consider approval of license agreements between Nueces County and MAR Insurance related to providing enrollment by MAR Insurance for health services and related matters. Texas Government Code 551.071. 3A10, discuss and consider approval of license agreements between Nueces County and San Rafael Clinic related to providing healthcare services at the Outreach Clinic and Mobile Clinic by San Rafael Clinic and related matters. Government Code 551.071. Item 3C2 is discuss and consider Nueces County collecting plat application fees within the ETJ and the county properties along with related matters. I assume that would be 551.071 as well?
Correct.
Yes, and then 3F2 is discuss and consider approval of the hire right agreement to provide background check services, 551.071.
Yes, correct.
Yes. So it is 12:20, and we are going into executive session, and it is 2:17. We are back from executive session, and we have a few items to address. On item 4C, I will make the motion to authorize the county judge to sign the completion of ABM project 855-30950, pay application 27 and 28, and hold payment 29. Release upon approval of the engineer of record one, Ron Wheaton, that attached punch list items are accepted as complete. I am making the motion. I will accept a second.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed, same sign. The motion passes.
I'm sorry, was that the ABM?
Yes,
No,
caught itself.
no.
For D, I will make the motion to authorize the county attorney to pursue settlement negotiations for final payment demand by Wood, Boykin, and Walter, representing Haggerty, and to authorize the county judge to sign an early release check after these negotiations. I'll accept a second on that as well.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed, same sign.
Hey,
Nay, another. 3A9, and I think Commissioner Modas, you're going to make a motion for that?
Yes, Judge. Make a motion to adopt a licensing agreement and implement a 90-day trial for, with, I can't read my own.
Amended termination
Amended termination.
language attached. I'll second that
Yes,
motion.
sorry.
All those in favor say aye. Aye.
aye.
3A10,
And I would make the same motion with the same language as the previous item. Adopt licensing agreement, 90-day trial for,
Same
with
word.
amended termination language.
I'll second that one as well. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed, same sign. The motion passes. On 3C2, we would like to table to November the 8th. Is that your, right, Commissioner
That's
Hernandez?
correct, Judge. That's
Sorry.
correct.
Is that your motion then?
Yes, it is. That's
I'll
my motion
second
for
that
November.
motion. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Same sign. 3F2 on the contract for hire right. I would make the motion to approve the contract that we just received a few moments ago, pending the county attorney have time to read over it and make sure the indemnity clause is still, and they're taking, sorry, I'm getting confused. Make sure they have removed the,
Yes, so
Yes.
approval subject to review, final review by county attorney.
yes, thank you. That's all I needed. Sorry.
With specific direction on the indemnity clause.
With
With
specific direction.
specific direction on the indemnity clause, yes. That's my motion.
Second.
We have a second. All those in favor, say aye.
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 Any opposed, same sign. The motion passes, and there was no action on the first two, right? Or did we need any action on the first two items in executive? We didn't.
There was,
We didn't agree to any of that, so do we need to instruct y'all to do anything? Sorry.
it would be just deny claim and to continue negotiating.
I will make the motion to deny the claim on, for, what is it? A, and to authorize our attorneys to continue negotiations.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed, the same sign. The motion passes. Is there anything that we missed? Anybody have any notes that I am passing over, anything? I think we're good. Do we have any adjournments in memory? No? You do? Oh, okay. I'm sorry. I thought you were saying yes. If there are no adjournments in memory, then I will accept a motion to adjourn. So moved, and a second. All those in favor say aye. Aye. The motion passes. Thank you very much. We are adjourned. It is 2:23.